Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
So I'm a little upset.
Oh, dear.
I'm a little upset because...
We didn't get a gentleman today.
No.
We got a he's so upset.
No, I'm a little upset. I'm upset. I'm upset with a member of this show, actually.
Oh, my heavens.
See, here's the thing. There are certain people in life that they have ability to do pretty much anything. They're just good at stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Phew. I thought you were talking about me for a second.
They're good at stuff.
What did Jesse do wrong?
They're good at stuff, and what bugs me is that, I have to work at stuff. And even then, I'm just passing by the skin of my teeth.
Okay.
So I've been playing trampoline dodgeball for about 3 years, all right? 3 years I've been playing this.
Yeah.
And I worked my tail off to get good at it. I couldn't throw properly. I wasn't getting out of the way of balls. And now I'm just okay.
You're a contributor. You're a role player.
I'm a role player. I'm third line at best.
Adam's downplaying his skills. Adam's pretty damn good.
So last night...
Adam's got the eye of the tiger when he plays sports, right? It's scary, right?
Yeah. Definitely scary.
Last night
intense.
at 6:30, when our game is at 8... I say to Jesse, listen, we need a sub for our trampoline dodgeball league. Do you think you could come? And he's like, well, I'd have to get shorts, whatever. I'm like, I'll drive you home and we'll go.
I'd have to miss basketball.
He missed basketball.
Usually Monday nights.
To come to tram dodgeball. Yeah.
Hey, you know who wasn't really doing anything? It was the guy who's not 6'5". But I mean, you invite Jesse.
Well, the guy who lives here in Toronto.
If you live downtown, if you live 3 hours away, maybe we can have invited you. There's no way you'd have made it on time.
Is the game at midnight? Maybe that's enough time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's when the 401 finally clears.
I just want to be invited to things.
I would love for you to come, but you live in anher city. Literally,
you have to plan a whole day around it.
Yeah, it's true. You're a Maple Leafs fan who doesn't live in Toronto.
I'd be writing postcards to Mrs. Dangle. Dearest Dessel, stop. I'm halfway to trampoline dodgeball. Stop.
Send food, rations. Stop. Running out of fresh water.
I'm growing weary in the winter.
So we go. And Jesse, I kind of gave him the rundown of the rules, and they gave him a better rundown when we get there.
Dodgeball, but with jumping.
So dodgeball's pretty straightforward. You guys know how to play. You know that a catch isn't out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it was the second game in. Okay. We are literally on our last legs. It's Jesse and another person left in, and we're not. It was not a good not a good round, right? Because the matches last half an hour. Depending upon how many games you get in.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We played for, by the way, 2 straight hours last night. 4 matches. But how
are you standing?
This particular half-hour match, there's little sets in between, so they're like they're the games.
Yeah.
And I'm not standing. I'm sitting.
I know, I'm an idiot.
That's how I'm doing it.
Jesse got me 2 coffee. Well, Adam got me a coffee and Jesse got me a coffee, and I'm going to need both, apparently.
So producer Jesse is out there playing his first game. Already, he has a way better throw than I could ever hope to have.
He scored 4 goals in his first game.
He scored, I'm not even kidding, 4 points in this game. Here's what happened. You ready?
Okay.
He throws, hits a person. Somebody throws right back at him. As soon as he lets it go, they're throwing at him. He catches.
With his teeth.
Dodges another, throws the one he has, gets an out, and as he's falling, catches another. Within 5 effing seconds. It was like we were down 6-2, 6 people to 2, and he evened it like that and won the game. It was the craziest thing I've ever, I wish I had it on camera so you could see it. It was one of those unbelievable, I've been playing dodgeball for 3 years, like I said. Every single week, I have never seen anything like that.
I don't play dodgeball the right way because I don't dodge the ball. I just try and catch the ball, and eventually I get lucky and I make a nice catch.
Because you're a team player, and as I just learned, Adam is apparently not.
Adam's really good at dodging the ball, which is the point of the game. And I'm not good at that because I'm too big and I have too many limbs.
But he sounds really frustrated at your success in this game. Jesse, whose team were you on?
I was on Adam's team.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, shouldn't you be happy?
I should.
You should be congratulating yourself. You're the one who brought this guy.
I should. But as a true Montreal Canadiens fan, as I've known to be, I turn on my own team.
Did you notice that our Reddit page, the picture in the corner is you in a Habs shirt?
I did, Jesse. Thank you for that one.
With the Quebec flag behind you.
Who
that's
did
our
that?
listeners.
Our listeners can do that?
Yeah, Fritza, who's one of our...
How do you... What?
He's like our Reddit admin guy.
We have a Reddit admin guy?
Yeah.
Who's not us?
Yeah.
For such a small subreddit, we actually have like a really well upkept
Yep.
Reddit page.
Well, thank you for
I'm
doing
not
that.
the one posting the links to the shows and all that.
Really?
That's
Dude,
our
I post like one
adored
link a
listeners.
month.
I thought it was you.
No,
No.
it's not me at
Oh,
all.
who is this person?
Fritza? I'm
It's a
pronouncing
few people.
his name wrong.
It's a few people.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
a couple guys. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you. Amazing. Wow,
I have a
that's
question off of your
trampoline dodgeball
story.
thing.
If LeBron James played hockey from the age of 3, is he better than Crosby at this age? Does just natural athleticism translate over to any sport?
I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think it absolutely does because I don't have any, and Jesse does. Jesse walked in last night and was instantly better than me.
Hockey is so different though because of the skating. The skating is the huge X factor,
but
right?
if LeBron knows how to skate,
Yeah.
Right. If you're saying from the age of 6, I mean, geez, there's a few guys. You see JJ Watt on skates, and you're like, okay, if you're in the NHL, you're happy that he dropped hockey at a certain age.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who are you scared of? You're afraid of Bufflin. You're afraid of Chara. Well, used to be anyway.
I still wouldn't want
Big
to get hit
guys
by
who know
Chara.
what they're doing. Yeah, no, of course not. But big guys who know what they're doing. There's a bunch of big guys in the league, not that many who know what they're doing. If you put JJ Watt on skates, if you put LeBron James on skates,
You know who else?
That's terrifying.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper is
Harper,
a
you think?
beast. Because here's the
Is
thing.
he a big guy?
Well, he's a beast in what I think he's probably my height, maybe just a little bit.
He's just one of those
He's probably like
athletes.
6'4", maybe it was 6'1", 6'2", but and I'm not 6'1", 6'2", he's 5'11" to 6'1", I would guess. I don't know. But what's amazing about Bryce Harper is A, he works out like a freaking animal. B, his hand-eye coordination, which is key if you want to handle a puck,
In hockey, yeah.
is
yeah.
unreal. And
Bryce
he's got
Harper
great
is
foot speed.
6'2".
6'2".
Yeah.
So he's not an obscenely tall man.
You know what we need more of? Novelty game shows where we get to pit athletes of certain sports against other athletes
Wasn't
of
there,
other sports.
like a Spike TV thing called like Pros versus Joes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
show.
Didn't
it
Wayne
was.
Gretzky have to race?
Yeah,
who
and
did he
Claude
race?
Lemieux had to do something too. Like, yeah, it was some sort of game.
Come on.
Well, you've been to like the ping pong tournament where all the hockey players
Yeah,
play ping
there's-
pong. They're
yeah.
just naturally good at that
They
because
are.
they're just athletes.
They are.
It's incredible.
They are. And it's weird, the guys who are good at it, because you kind of wonder, how did you get so good? Because
That's
they're,
Dominic Moore's event, right?
yeah, and he's one of the really good guys. Alex Burrows is really good. Patrick Eves has won it 2 or 3 years in a row. So everyone who plays is just naturally at least decent. But the guys who are really good, you're like, yo, you could compete. Patrick Eves could leave hockey if ping pong paid money. I don't know if it does. And like do well on the ping pong circuit. That's a good player. And you see him, he's just this jacked man
Have you
with a
seen
giant
Olympic ping
lumberjack
pong,
beard.
though?
Yeah,
It's
pretty
insane.
intense.
Yeah. I don't know about that. He's not there, is he?
No, he's not quite there.
He's not like Forrest Gump.
But he
crazy.
hasn't been training at it since he was 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. All right, fair enough.
I
Fair
think
enough.
Crosby would make a pretty good running back in the NFL.
Yeah,
Starting
still
from day
small.
one.
He definitely, you know what? CFL legend. He's too
CFL
small.
legend Chris.
Too small.
Too small?
Yes.
Pinball Clemens. Pinball Crosby.
You're absolutely right.
Man, I think that's a pretty good assessment.
Wow, man,
I'm sorry.
he might make $75,000. Like, think of all the things he could get with
At his peak.
At his peak. Yo, we just signed Crosby to a 5-year, $250,000 contract. What? He's getting paid way too much.
Let's go Rough Riders.
That's crazy.
Riders. There's only 8 teams, and we've only won 4 times in 100 years. Woo!
You know what's amazing? We've gone this long without talking about the gong show that was Leafs
I know.
Flames.
You know what? And Jesse, I missed
incredible.
it, but I kept calling out.
What?
Well, because we're at dodgeball.
Oh, right. Okay, well, let me tell you.
I kept calling out the score at the game, and people would be like, "Yeah." I was
didn't
like,
care, eh?
F you guys. F all
I
of
don't
you.
think people know that you should start caring about the Leafs again.
Well, no, because we were
It's true.
talking.
Yeah.
We were talking to the team last night, the dodgeball team, and I was like, "No, this team's gonna make the playoffs." They're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we'll see." Like all the people who think that they're experts or whatever,
Yeah.
the takes were hot.
The general public doesn't know how good we are.
I think it's weird. The Leafs, Blue Jays, and Raptors, like, are they all on level playing field now? Like, because how many
No,
people
no.
tuned into the Raptors playoff run
No.
and were just like, hey, they're good again. Sweet. Who's this Biombo guy? I love him.
Well, they've been making the playoffs for like 3 years, though, right? 3-4 years. So
Yeah, but no one really cared.
the first year they did.
Not as much as last year, which I guess makes sense. They made it to the
Yeah.
third round.
Because we went around, and that was the big thing.
Yeah.
And then they won a second round, which they'd never done, ever. In the team's history, which was a big deal. I think you're right. I think the first time they went to the playoffs against Brooklyn, where it was a surprise, and Kyle Lowry was going to be traded,
gets in front of a crowd and goes, F Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was great.
Best money he's ever spent.
The next year when they played the Warriors, was it the Warriors?
No.
Oh no, not the Warriors.
Washington Wizards.
Yeah, and Paul Pierce was like, nothing about the Raptors scares me, and he turned out to be right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But then they retool the next year, and they come back, and they actually get that monkey off their back, and they win a really tough series with Indiana. I believe
They won
it was,
two really tough series. Yeah.
And I mean, they were 2 wins away from the NBA championship series, right? Like that's
Where they would have been murdered.
Yes,
but who
hey,
cares?
But hey,
Besides the point.
the point is, I don't think the Leafs are at the Jays Raptors level yet.
It's like
You'd have to be like
agreed.
Raptors were first place in the conference, second place in the conference.
Second.
Cleveland's
Behind
first.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Leafs are not there. And you know what? The Jays might have taken a step back this year. I actually think with the moves they've made this offseason, I mean, who the hell knows?
Baseball's dumb, though.
But Kendrick
So you never know.
Morales,
You
Kendrick
never know.
Morales could hit out of his mind, but he's slow as a rock. And then you've got Batista, who's got question marks, and Donaldson, who's amazing. So I don't know what the Jays are anymore.
They'll be in there. They'll be in there.
Sure.
Competitive. I feel like they're on level playing field, but then the second game 1 of the playoff starts, should the Leafs make it that far, everyone will go nuts, no matter who it's against. And by the way, it's like, let's say they make it, it's looking likely. Okay, if it's a wild card spot, they might get Montreal.
Which would be amazing. Which should have happened until they drove off a cliff a couple years ago.
If it's an Atlantic spot, it looks very likely that it'll be Ottawa, which people will get jacked for, or outside chance Boston.
When we played the last time we played Ottawa, which was Saturday.
Yes.
Yep. I'm brain dead. One thing I tweeted was I'm so I hated losing like that.
Yeah.
But wasn't it great to see the Battle of Ontario back?
It's back. Oh, it's fully back.
It's back.
Yeah.
And the Montreal-Toronto thing is going to come back. It isn't there yet, but it's going to come back.
I think they've all been 1-goal losses, right? Or there might have been an empty netter in one of them.
There isn't the hate against Montreal yet.
It's perfect that Phaneuf is on Ottawa, too.
Oh, yeah.
We have a guy we can poke at and be like, I hate you.
Because Erik Karlsson,
Yeah.
Yeah, you like Erik
he didn't hit Tucker from behind.
No.
I don't hate him.
He looks like a musketeer, too. How do you not like that?
Yeah, I like him.
Sure.
I'd buy shampoo off him.
My fiance is obsessed with him and his fiance. She just basically searches their Instagram every day and creeps their stuff.
Does she write goals on their Instagram?
No, but she should. No, she also doesn't write. What did you write on Austin Matthews?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Something daddy?
I think it was just Poppy. Or Daddy.
It was Daddy with an I.
Daddy,
it was Daddy.
which is weird.
Supposedly
man.
one of his nicknames is Poppy.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
Gotta switch it up.
you want to know what happened?
Yeah, so tell me about the Leafs game, which I've seen the highlights and read all the articles for.
All right, now I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. Well then, damn it, Adam.
I'm kidding. I did my homework, is my point.
The first period was boring. It was boring, for sure. Until with less than 90 seconds to go in the period, I think, Nikita Zaitsev puts it on. Mitch Marner, with a perfect, like, Joe Pavelski-like tip in front, puts the Leafs up 1-0. Hooray.
Right in the middle of Marne's barn. No less.
Right in the middle of Marne's barn. And by the way, by the end of the game, I believe he overthrows Austin Matthews for the rookie scoring lead.
He does.
Just nuts.
Which I want to get to.
Sure. See,
Yeah. We're talking about the game. Blah, blah.
Then Kadri scores a goal. Oh, this goal. Matthews is on the ice, manages to fling it up ice anyway.
As he's falling.
Nylander, falling onto the ice, just manages to...
Over to Kadri.
Just a little poke over to Kadri. And Kadri with a wicked shot that Brian Elliott totally should have stopped because Brian Elliott is bad.
That's what I thought, too.
And there's the screen. There's the... You got to stop that there, Brian. And Leafs
He
are up
sounded like
2-0.
Brian, his boss. Oh, you got to...
we signed this guy in the offseason, and you know what? I'm going to let my son talk about this. Thanks, Dad. So anyway, the Department of Player Safety.
Brian and Patrick Burke.
Yes.
Everyone.
So then a thing happens. I might be getting the order screwed up, but whatever. Flames are on a power play. Leo Komarov demolishes Johnny Gaudreau. Gaudreau is admiring his pass. Komarov hits him and beans him in the brain. So, did Komarov leave his skates? No. Did it look like he intentionally targeted the head? No. Did he go upward? No. Did he hit him in the head? Yes. And this is where it gets hairy. So everyone's been talking about incidental contact and accidental contact, unavoidable contact. And
5-9-able contact?
Sorry?
5-9-able contact?
Well, funny you should bring that up, Adam. So he escapes discipline for this.
Of course he does.
Oh, do you want me to bring this up too?
No, we're bringing that up after.
No, yeah, we'll bring that up after. That's the Matthew Tkachuk thing. So, well, what's he supposed to do? Johnny Gaudreau's short.
Well, what's Leo supposed to do? He's taller.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
People are saying, what is Leo Komarov supposed to do? Johnny Gaudreau is short. Now, the rule, I'm not trying to hate on Leo. I'm just trying to say, devil's advocate, if I'm a Flames fan, and even outside of that, if I am a fan of players remembering who they are past the age of 45, I'm a fan of player safety. So, let's try to figure this out. The rule is not you can't hit someone in the head unless they're under 5'10", then it's cool. The rule is you can't hit someone in the head. So I don't have a lot of sports playing experience, organized sports playing, but I did play rugby in high school. And there was a game that this reminded me of that I'll never forget. We were on Mowat. We sucked. We played Cedarbrae, I think it was, who were at very least better than us. Cedarbrae had a little person. Oh, you mean like they were short? No. A little person. We're talking like 3 feet tall, like up to my hip. A little person. Playing on their team. And we're like, yo, this is dangerous, man. What if, forget hitting him. Like if we accidentally fall on this guy, we're going to hurt him. This guy, we're all walking around out there. We're like we're big young men, but between like 175 and 210 pounds across the team. Mm-hmm. We could really hurt this guy. There's no way he's even 100.
He's lucky if he's 100 pounds.
Yeah. So, but this little bastard, every time he got the ball, he would get hit and we would get a penalty for a high hit. Because the rule is not above a certain height. It's you have to hit below the shoulders. To the point where we had gotten like a dozen high hit penalties on this guy. And we're like, okay, what are we supposed to do? Finally, one of our players runs up to him when he gets the ball. And this guy got the ball all the time because they kept getting him the ball because we kept getting penalties. One guy runs up to him, drops to his knees in front of him, and shoves him as hard as he can. And he goes flying. He just goes flying. Poor guy. Guess what? We got another high hit penalty because he still pushed him in the shoulders. Below the shoulders for him was like below our knees. So Johnny Gaudreau is not that extreme of an example, but the rule was very clear, and it's in another sport. There are other sports with similar rules to this hockey one. You cannot hit a certain area. It's not about the height, it's about the area. So, well, what's Leo Komarov supposed to do? Duck down? Maybe. Maybe it's Gaudreau's advantage that sometimes, because of his height, he's ineligible to be hit. Now, you might think that's crazy. You might think that's unfair, but it is what it is. Are you allowed to hit players in the head intentionally? Well,
no, you're not.
What is intentional now? If you know, if Tyler Meyer goes after Johnny Gaudreau, and he doesn't target the head, but he knows if he hits him, he's going to hit him in the head.
Steve, if you watch the replay, the thing that makes contact first is the body.
I think it might have been the stick also, someone pointed out, that because Gaudreau's stick comes up.
Oh, maybe.
Komarov hits it, and it kind of hits Gaudreau in the chin. It's hard to tell.
To me, it's always principal point of contact. And the principal point of contact was not Gaudreau's head.
Chest.
It was his chest. So, yes, his head eventually hit. But if you were to slow it down, the real principal point here is shoulder into body, not shoulder into head.
Yeah.
And I understand that rule, and I get that. And maybe you're right. Maybe you're right about, that's Gaudreau's advantage. And you know what? If you could play that advantage, play that advantage. All the power to you. I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is Gaudreau got rocked. This used to happen a lot more in the NHL. So when it happens now, people are always surprised by it, which is why Giordano jumped in and stood up for him. And it was funny reading Brian McGrattan's tweets.
He tried to.
Yeah, and then he did a beautiful little dance. But Brian McGrattan tweeted, he's like, now this is the game you all wanted. Wouldn't it be nice for Johnny Gaudreau if somebody could step in and stand up for him? And I don't know about that.
Now, wouldn't it be nice? Can you say that again?
He said basically, I don't have the tweet in front of me, but he said, wouldn't it be nice if
someone stepped in.
And did what?
When, Brian?
You're not
before the hit or after? Before the hit or after? Are you in the business of preventing injuries?
Leo would have been too afraid to hit Gaudreau had he known McGrattan was sitting on the bench. Because Leo's that kind of guy who's
I'm glad you said sitting on the bench because I'm going to remind everyone that the Flames were on the power play. There's no way McGrattan would have been on the end.
Can I quote Brian McGrattan?
Sure,
Please
yes.
do.
Back in the day, we would send Komarov back to Russia with a broken face eating ketchup sandwiches.
Okay. And what else?
The discipline used to be getting your face crushed.
That's funny. Actually, that's just funny.
I mean, it is funny. Look. I'm not hating on the guy. I just think he's wrong.
Yeah,
that's all.
No, I don't have to think about it. He is wrong.
We're acting like this never. He's wrong. Like this used to never happen. No, what
Sheriff McGrattan?
Do you want one more?
No, here I will. Yeah, sure. Here.
He said, "How bad does Johnny want a guy on the team to stick up for him? Poor little guy. This is the game everyone wanted."
So here's the thing. Brian McGrattan is partially right. Everybody. So here's what used to happen. Komarov lays the hit.
Dan Carlin this.
Leo Komarov, an Estonian-Swedish Finn from Russia, goes in and he...
I don't know if enough people care about that.
No, it's true. Yeah, not enough people care about hardcore history.
It's the best. Dan Carlin.
Jesse's being such a producer right now. I don't know if...
I just love your impression of him so much. Anyway, sorry.
It's so good and no one knows who it is. Anyway, so Komarov comes in and he hits Gaudreau.
Yep.
Then what happens is later in the game, Brian McGrattan goes and attacks Leo Komarov. And then whoever the Leafs tough guy is comes in and saves Komarov and fights McGrattan.
Or someone else goes and attacks someone else on the team, whoever's on the ice.
And then they get their frustration out that way. That was the quote-unquote deterrent. I don't know about deterrent as much as it just helped them get their frustration out. Now, what happens instead is some rat like Chris Versteeg or Alex Chason or Matthew Tkachuk does something dirty in response. It's not preventative. It was getting frustration out. And now, because I guess they don't have that goon there, you got Chris Versteeg hacking at Matthew's legs like he's chopping down a redwood. You got Chason intentionally targeting Komarov's head.
Did you see Sam Bennett's slew foot on Connor Carrick?
Oh, I forgot about that one. Sam Bennett's slew foot on Connor Carrick, which, you know what? I don't feel that bad about that one because Carrick cross-checked him.
Yeah.
Cross-checked him. I'm surprised the stick didn't break.
Bennett's very, very lucky that he wasn't standing closer to Connor Carrick after that.
Yeah, or a pull-up bar.
Here's the thing, okay? If I'm a fan of a team, and I've been ashamed of the Leafs many times, so I'm not, please don't think that I'm standing up on a soapbox here saying that I've never been, because I think we've been, of all the franchises, we've been the one who've been most ashamed, okay?
Yes.
But I would be ashamed of the players on my team after seeing that. Slew-footing a guy, two guys? Come on.
Well, it's the Leafs.
No, hold on.
Concentrate on trying to come back. It's the Leafs. You can do it. You can do it. And they spent the whole third period dicking around.
You're slew-footing because not only that, but the Flames have issues. The Flames have some serious issues.
Yeah,
you know why they're not
is.
focused on scoring goals? Because they're not scoring goals and they don't believe in
Man,
themselves.
the broadcast was so funny. Man, I'm not seeing any emotion on the Flames bench, and the camera goes, whoom, right on Gullitson's face. Glenn Gullitson or Galutzon.
Yeah, I want to bring
whatever.
him up, actually.
Oh, boy. Just no emotion.
Yeah,
None.
I want to bring up Calgary's coach because I think this is important.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yada, yada, yada. Brian McGrattan does have a point. I just don't think he realizes the point he's making. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And I am saying that with nothing but love in my heart.
Okay.
I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting guy
He'd
to talk
be
to.
really fun. He'd be really fun.
So Glenn Gullitson, he seems to me, in every interview I've seen, and especially I've been paying attention for whatever reason to the Flames a lot more in the last month. He seems
They've been fun. Up until the
They've been
last
fun.
couple of weeks, they've been fun.
he's been, but you know, like some teams, they just stand out in your mind over certain parts of the season. You don't know why. The Flames are one of them.
Okay.
For me, and
Interesting.
the reason being is his post-game interviews. Whether they win or lose, he's mad at them.
Okay.
Like, you know how Claude Noel was always mad at the Winnipeg Jets, even when they did well?
He was just kind of mum.
Well, you know, but
How would a conversation between Claude Noel and Paul Maurice go? Hi, Paul. Hi, Claude. How are you? Oh, I'm pretty good. How about you? Okay. Coaching the Jets is hard, right? Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
well, and I want to read you some quotes to kind of back this up because Mark Spector posted an article before last night's game. And this is a quote before last night's game, and they're talking about
Spectre bringing the heat, by the way. He's finally got two interesting teams to cover.
Holy smokes, yeah. He said, you know, he's talking about, and this is how his article ends, okay? Meanwhile, up the road, the Oilers have blazed past the Flames. They are, just hang on. Just let me read it.
I'm just pointing out.
They are bigger, better, and have their franchise goalie. Suddenly, the Flames are in their rearview mirror and going in the wrong direction. Tonight, it's the Maple Leafs who are playing with bold belief and oodles of skill. Surely their project hasn't surpassed Calgary's too, has it? As in rebuild.
Nah, you know what? Calgary started poor. They were good for much longer than they were poor, and now they've had a poor stretch.
Here's my next quote, and this is, again, pre-game. Remembering that the Flames are just coming off the Oilers sweeping them in the season series for the first time ever. They've never been swept
Really?
in a season series.
I feel like Edmonton, even though they were bad last season, really ran the Flames show, didn't
Well,
they?
they ran them this year, for sure.
Yeah.
Glenn Gullitson says, we were down yesterday and this morning. Everybody's a little bit embarrassed. There's a sense of we need to get back to playing the way we need to play. This is before the game. You're admitting your team's depressed. Now, that might have been why they lost 4-0 last night. It could have been a Flames loss more than a Leafs win.
They're on the road.
Could be on the road. And they also
Hard.
have to remember, in the next 3 nights, they have to play Ottawa and Montreal as well.
Well, this is interesting. This is what I was wondering. We got the Flames schedule. Thank you, Jesse. So, Flames just got embarrassed by the Oilers. So, now you got your next 3 games coming up. Mm-hmm. Toronto, next night Montreal, and then Ottawa. Who's your starting goalie? It's definitely Chad Johnson, right?
Has to be.
Has to be. He's definitely your better goalie. Why not look at this back-to-back against Toronto and Montreal and go, you know what? We probably have a better chance beating Toronto because we beat them last time. We shut them out last time. Why not start the goalie who shut them out the last time?
Well, you play the better goal against the better team, Steve.
I guess. And maybe
I'm
it's
with you. Think
maybe it's a
strategically.
defeatist attitude because I'm going at least try to get 2 of the 4 points.
I think that's strategic thinking. I don't know if that's defeatist.
I think so too. And then Johnson is fresh as a daisy, 2 days rest, and remember, you're on the road to take on the Sens. And then all of a sudden, you got a really good chance at taking 4 of 6.
Which would be great. It'd be great. Now,
I don't understand why they started Elliott in that one, especially, like, the Leafs are... If there's anything they're good at, it's scoring goals. What are you doing?
yeah. Well, Glenn, bringing it back to the coach, I know it's been a frustrating year for him because they've been very up and down, but I find him, even when they win, to be too hard on that team. And it's like, it seemed to me with the Flames, they need somebody in there who could just lighten things up a little bit. Just make a joke, for God's sakes.
And now we get to...
Like, can
That sounds a little bit like Bob Hartley.
What do you mean? Oh, like he was hard on them too?
I think he had a better personality for that team, but his strategy sucked.
Right.
So it's interesting. You're seeing the
yin and yang.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it just
Avalanche
seems
too.
like they're a little bit tough. Now, we got to go to break, but when we come back, I've got some more stuff on the Leafs last night. Couple milestones were passed, some records were set, and you might not even know about them.
I'm ready to go. Coffee number 2.
Zach Hyman.
I'm alive, by the way.
Zach Hyman tied a Toronto Maple Leafs record last night.
He did?
Yeah.
What's that?
Guess.
I'm going to go with shorthanded goals by a rookie.
Coolest hairstyle.
I think
He
that
has
was,
like the most generic hairstyle.
Yeah, I think that goes to Brian McCabe circa 2004 when he had the mohawk. I thought that was cool. Steve, you are absolutely correct.
Oh, nice.
Woo!
He's
What's
now-
the record,
he's
2?
now yeah. So he is now tied for the rookie lead in
Wow.
shorthanded goals ever by a Toronto Maple Leaf rookie with Russ Courtnall. I just thought that was a hilarious stat.
That is great.
I was listening to The Fan last night, and Gord Stellick was on, and he dropped that, and I was like, wow. Wow.
Gord Stellick.
Gord Stellick dropping the heat, and then
It's going to be such a bummer when Hyman's on the Habs, though.
I know.
Jeez. It's going to be a bummer.
He's not going to the Habs.
I know. Then he'd beat Zach Habman.
Oh, my
Nope.
God.
You wouldn't.
Nazem Kadri hits 100 goals.
How about that, eh?
And 20 goals this season. Does it all on the same night. 20 goals and 100 goals. So
Unreal.
a fifth of Nazem Kadri's goals have come in this 44-game stretch.
That's unbelievable.
45-game stretch.
20%.
20% of his goals have happened this year. That's the kind of season Nazem Kadri's having.
Wow. No, more than that now because he's got. I don't know. I'm
21,
I'm
'cause you're at
garbage at
21.
numbers. No, he's at 20,
he's
but
at
he has
20.
101 now. I'm dumb.
Okay,
Ignore
but-
me. Ignore me.
Anyway, the point. So it's like 19.79.
Who cares? You're right. I should have never said anything.
What was hilarious yesterday, and I love this, you could hear it in the post-game Leaf show with Todd Willishko and Gord Stellick, and you could feel the excitement because those guys go to every game, like the press, and they're fans of the team. Gord worked for the team. Todd played in the NHL. Like they want the team to do well, and you could hear it. They were like. And then they did this, and then they did this. And these are grown men, and
They look so much better.
It was so cool to look at.
the
But the best part,
Flames.
I thought, was the people calling in. And
Oh, they're the best. They're the best.
so,
Oh, Leafs post-game callers. If you got nothing better to do.
Oh, it's great.
Just turn it on.
if you want to hear the takes exist there. They are the hottest of takes.
See, we're on the radio
It's
right
like
now,
hockey
so someone's
Twitter.
listening and going, hey.
It's hockey Twitter for people that don't have Twitter.
Whoa.
You know?
And they're not constrained to 140 characters.
Exactly. So first off, my favorite was a guy who called and he seemed like he was genuinely so excited, and I loved him through the radio. I'm like, man, I love you, but then I stopped loving him when he said Nazem Kadri's having a great season. His trade value will never be higher. So let's go get Kevin Shattenkirk on his half-year deal. And I was like. You are missing the point. And Gord Stellick, God bless him. And this is why I love Gord. Because he calmly said, well, listen, here's the thing.
You can't have a coffee before that show.
Here's the thing.
You gotta be calm.
And I think after a Leaf game, you'd probably be a little bit tired too, right? So Gord calmly says, well, I understand what you're saying. And you might be right about Nazem Kadri's trade value. However, Lou Lamoriello said he would go into a foxhole, or there's no one he'd rather go into a foxhole with than Nazem Kadri. And then he signed something like that. And then he signed him to a 6-year contract. So I got to tell you, Nazem Kadri's not going anywhere. And you're right. It's true. And yes, Nazem Kadri's trade value is really high right now. There's a reason for that, and that's because he's playing really, 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 really good hockey.
Connor McDavid's got a really high trade value right now. So does Austin Matthews.
I heard of Genny Malkin, also has a high trade value.
Sidney Crosby. I mean, you might. Penguins got to strike while the iron's hot.
I
know they're in a playoff spot, but come on,
you got to get your assets in order, right?
Really?
Yeah.
It's like come
how
on.
How many star centermen do you really need in this league?
I know, like one. And
One
then
max.
you're good. Look at the Avalanche. They got 2 and they're fine.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is the Leafs are right
Cheap
now
shot.
A little bit. Yeah, that was the second time.
You've been slamming the Avalanche tonight.
Yeah,
and
because they
last night on Twitter.
suck, and they didn't even mean to. But I guess we'll get to that.
The Leafs are currently in a playoff spot with 53 points in 45 games. The Boston Bruins are currently outside of the playoffs, even outside of the wild card. They have 52 points in 50 games. Interestingly, the Leafs are now 11 points ahead of where they were this time last year. And by the way, this time last year, the Leafs were sniffing around a playoff spot. And we're all thinking, well, maybe, I don't know. It was the peak of the Leaf season, and then JVR broke his ankle and it was over.
Yeah.
Now when I say they were sniffing for a 10th place, and that's what we were worried about.
They were there.
10th.
They were there, though.
They were there. They were
there.
They were 8th or 9th ish, I think.
Yeah.
Also, now Mitchell Marner, Marne's Barn, the Mitch Jishin.
Oh, dear.
The Mitch Jishin works. Come on.
That does work.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Acknowledge me, please.
I'd say his excitement around him has hit a fevered Mitch.
Mitch, please.
Oh, how dare you. Oh, that's too far.
So Marner is now the rookie the NHL rookie lead for points, right? As of the recording of this podcast. I don't know how the voting works specifically for Calder voting. So help me out here. Do you have a first, second, and third place vote?
I think it's first through fifth.
First through fifth. So that could work in the Leafs' favor here, because I was thinking, okay, if all the writers who vote on this only get one vote, does the Matthews-Marner vote split down the middle and give it to Laine?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because it's almost like Democrats don't vote for Bernie Sanders, but don't go for Hillary because Bernie's never going to win, and you're going to split your vote.
Do you want me to explain the voting system?
Please do.
So the voting is conducted at the end of the regular season by members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, and each individual voter ranks their top 5 candidates on a 10-7-5-3-1 point system.
Okay.
So top 5,
one.
but weighted differently.
But points.
Okay. Now
you know the NHL keeping things simple.
Yeah. Here's
a point system.
Here's how that's extra interesting.
Is there a shootout?
I think so.
I would like to see a shootout for a Calder
You only get a
trophy.
half point for that.
Yeah.
Here's how that's extra interesting. The year Jose Theodore won the Hart, if I'm not mistaken, part of the reason he won because it was a hotly contested race between him and Iginla. There were some ballots, if I'm not mistaken, that had Theodore in first and had Iginla left off entirely.
Oh.
And I think there were I want to say there were some shenanigans with the Norris vote either last year or the year before.
When Doughty won. Well, that would make sense. Because, really, did Doughty
trying
really
to remember. Hey, there you go. I'm trying to remember, though, but it was like there were the top 2 guys, and then some people voted whoever it was, number 1.
We're not putting Brent Burns on our ballot.
Yeah, and leaving the other guy off entirely. So that's part of what I don't like about that system. But
my pick for Calder Trophy winner is a little different.
Okay.
I would go with Matt Murray.
Yeah?
17 wins, 2 shutouts, .923 save percentage.
Why isn't anyone talking about him? Like, not a soul.
Because nobody really
Not a
considers Matt
soul.
Murray a rookie, even though he definitely is. You know, the guy's already won a cup, right? Like, it's like, how is this guy a rookie? But you're absolutely right.
And not like he was there. Like, he played.
Yeah.
He played. He won
He
that
was
thing.
on the ice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. That is funny. It's a really good point. And I think the Calder Trophy this year is, ultimately, okay, it's a nice trophy for your case. Mm-hmm. But does it matter at the end of the day? I'm sure it matters to the players, but it would be nice to have a Leaf win one because we haven't had one since 19-2.
I want to say Teeter Kennedy was the
like,
last one. I'm not entirely sure.
In the 40s, 50s?
A very long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, I would love to see a Leaf get it. I also think it's so interesting with Nylander.
Britt Selby, 1966.
There you go.
There you go. Leaf great Britt Selby.
Right. Who could
forget Britt Selby when there were 6 teams in the league.
Hey, whatever. He won it. He won the damn thing.
That's
like
true.
that's the thing. People go, back when there were 6 teams in the league. Even when there were only 6 teams in the league, the Leafs barely ever won any trophies.
Which is embarrassing.
For Norris or Hart. No, but they were winning cups.
Yeah.
They just didn't win anything. I think Vezina. I think they won a few Vezinas. That's about it. I don't know if any Leaf has ever won the Hart.
I don't think so.
And
No.
Dave Keon's the only one to ever win the Conn Smythe.
I think Doug Gilmour was supposed to be up for the Hart, but they gave him like a Selkie as like a here's your secondary
he got
prize.
best original screenplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we have
The last what was
two
the
Hart trophies. We got Ted Kennedy in 1955 and Babe Pratt in 1944.
There you go.
great name, Babe.
Babe. And he was enough of a babe to win the Hart.
Sure was. He won my heart.
Typical babe wins the Hart. I mean, you see, because
I get it.
terrible.
We get it, Steve.
Terrible.
Yeah, no, I just wondered about that. Like, Austin Matthews and Patrick Laine have the big name brands behind them, but then you've got Mitch Marner, and also I got to Matt Murray. How is William Nylander not in that conversation?
Zach Werenski?
Zach Werenski.
Nylander's not in the conversation because he is the third best rookie on his own team. Doesn't matter how good
But
he is.
he's fourth in NHL rookie scoring.
So?
And he makes plays like he made last night.
I know, that was so good.
He is an outstanding hockey
I
player,
know.
and nobody's giving him any love.
I know. He's
Which
so
he might actually
he's
be okay with.
sneaky. He's
Yeah.
very sneaky. Because, I mean, Matthews does stuff that wows you, and Marner does stuff that wows you, and Nylander does it sometimes too, but for the most part, not as noticeable. And then you look at the score sheet, and you look at, the Leaf scoring leaders, and you go, how did that happen? I don't remember him. He's got 30 points?
When did that happen?
And then you forget things like he was Rookie of the Month in October. By the way, if Mitch Marner wins Rookie of the Month for January, the Leafs will have won Rookie of the Month for 3 of the 4 months. Because they had Nylander.
And then Matthews in November?
It was Matthews in either November or December.
December. It's December, I think it was.
And then
Because remember there was the article out there, has Austin Matthews hit a wall, a week into his freaking season?
So great. So great. So great.
I want to hear, can I give you a really unfair stat? That's really unfair, but I'm going to give it to you anyway because I think it's interesting.
I want to hear it. Toronto Sports Media member.
Yeah, that might be pushing it. I don't think anybody in the Toronto sports media would consider me a Toronto sports media member.
Yeah, they'd be
Someone
wrong.
was with Nick Kiprios this morning.
And John Scott.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that, Jesse.
Last year,
Adam wouldn't let you know that.
Nope.
Last year, Johnny Gaudreau was 6th in NHL scoring.
Wow.
This year, and this is where the stat's really unfair.
And he was left off Canada's World Cup team.
Well, wouldn't he have been on the Young Guns team? Wait,
he was on the Young Guns team.
rotten! I
Yeah, he was on the Young Guns
forgot
team.
that we screwed
Remember
that
when we
up.
screwed
No, he's
that
not
up?
Canadian.
He's not Canadian.
Oh, yeah, and he was also on the Young Guns, right?
Jesse,
we
that
just
was
screwed it up.
Yeah.
that was dozens of mistakes ago. Like, how can you expect me to remember that?
Let's not go there.
Dozens of mistakes
Last
ago.
year, Johnny Gaudreau, 6th in NHL scoring. This year, 6th on his team in scoring.
Oh.
Now, he was injured,
He was injured,
and that's not fair. And Sean Monahan's not playing well.
and he also sat out.
because of the restricted free agency thing. He had a
Yeah,
contract.
but for all the things the Flames have been through, for example, trading for the wrong goalie, they survived that with a really good backup. Gaudreau sat out and then was hurt.
Yep.
Monahan was hurt.
Yep.
Through all that, they survived, and they're right in there. They're right in the thick of a playoff race.
Well, when I was looking at Calgary's division, I don't think it's all bad for them. Like, obviously,
The
I think
Pacific stinks.
I think they're going for a rough time, or they're going through a rough time. But the Pacific stinks.
The Oilers and the Leafs are actually a pretty decent comparable for each other, I think, because of the success they're experiencing, but also because they both play in crap divisions.
Well, okay.
When did the Pacific start to stink?
Yeah.
That used to be the crown jewel of hockey.
Well, I'm looking at it right now.
Used to be Death Valley.
So Anaheim, and San Jose still look good, but like LA. So Anaheim's got 63 points.
LA's old,
That's
eh?
pretty good. Montreal has 63 points. So that Anaheim's right up there with the top team in the league. That's Randy Carlisle's Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I
Not
know.
Mighty Ducks, just Ducks. San Jose 62 points. Edmonton 60 points.
Patrick
Edmonton's-
Marleau with a certain kind of hat trick. Joe Thornton.
Patrick?
Oh dear. No, the name we'll call it what it is on the online portion.
Okay. Thanks, Steve, for that. That's not general.
It's called a tease.
Edmonton has 60 points. Calgary is next. Remember, there's 7 teams in this division. The top 3 have over 60 points. nobody in the bottom three has more than 50. Bottom four has more than 51, and Calgary has 51. Vancouver has 50. LA's got 48.
How about Vancouver?
And Arizona's got 36. Vancouver's outperforming what I ever thought they would do.
Wow.
And
Eric Engels, I think,
fans, by
tweeted
the way,
they're the biggest surprise of the season. I would say Columbus still.
Yeah.
But the fact that Vancouver has anything to do with any kind of playoff talk is pretty shocking to me.
From what I understand, too, their attendance has not been good. Like, the general public there is like, yeah.
They're such a strange team.
I think they've,
so
the last
strange.
5 years, they set their bar really high, which is great. But I think people, their fans expect more and want them to win, and I get that, but you screwed up. You let 2 A+ goaltenders go.
It's a very strange team.
It's a very strange team. I mean,
I don't get it.
Anyway, the Pacific, I don't think Calgary's, Calgary certainly is not out of it. They've got a wild card spot as it stands, and all they need to do is get hot again, which they are capable of doing. We've seen it happen. This is probably lower. This is them being depressed after losing to Edmonton 4 games in a row or whatever it was.
But come on. You can't let that ruin your season, man.
You can have down points.
I know it's a young team.
You can have
but
down points.
Sure, but they made the playoffs.
It's only a 3-game losing streak. Ain't the end of the world.
Calm down.
They're young.
I guess so.
They're young. So
you know who calms a team down in that situation? Or at least you'd
Brian
hope so.
McGrath.
Yeah. the coach.
Yeah,
You
well,
would
he's
hope
not.
he'd be the coach.
Honestly, watch him in press. Maybe I'm wrong. Watch him in press conferences now. Just watch. Even when they win. Smile, Glenn. It's important. I don't think people realize, I think in and I get it in hockey where
Body
you
language.
want to be intense. You want people to take you seriously. But at a certain point, you got to have some levity, right? If you're a great leader, great leaders have levity, and a head coach has got to be a great leader. Mike Babcock cracks a joke, and when Mike Babcock does crack a joke, it's rare, but it's funny because it's Mike Babcock, and you're not expecting it from him.
He picks his spots really well.
Exactly. And he knows how to make people feel good about their play.
Yeah, I remarked in the LFR, like, the second goal, Kadri's first goal, was a perfect example of how the Leafs look differently under Mike Babcock. Matthews doesn't give up on the puck. Nylander doesn't give up on the puck. And a good thing happens for Kadri. You could say it was a lucky goal and his luck has changed from last year, which is true. But he doesn't even get the puck on his stick without 2 diving last-ditch effort plays that in years past I don't think get made.
Oh, no. And for anybody that says that Nylander doesn't try, which is just, I don't like Swedish people. That's Canadian for I don't like a Swede.
No. Here's the thing. People have patience for Swedes who have good quotes.
Yes.
Nylander's a garbage quote. And that frustrates people. They don't notice him on the ice. And they can't get a word out of him in the dressing room. So therefore, he doesn't care and he's invisible.
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right. So,
I've seen it. I've asked him questions. He's painful.
Phil Kessel.
Yep.
And if it was not, if there's anybody out there that thinks that William Nylander doesn't try hard, it doesn't have the compete level, that is the perfect example of a guy who maybe at times didn't this year. I don't, but I think
I've
does
definitely
now.
heard it. I've heard rumors.
I haven't seen it.
Rumors from the inside, but I mean, I look at the score sheet and he's scoring. That's all I want out of him.
I also see a guy that's matured too, and I don't know. I think that
and I see Babcock addressing a weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's
he's
wrong
not
with
great
that?
defensively. All right, put him out there with Kadri and Leo,
who are
good at defense,
and who, by the way, did a great job shutting down Calgary's top lines.
Absolutely, and Brown and Hyman have good chemistry with Matthews. Marner has great chemistry with JVR. Like, I look at the Leafs lineup, and there's not really anything I would change.
Except for the defense.
I look at their offense, and there's not really anything I would change.
All right, we got to go to the online portion of the show. You can download it at sportsnet.ca. If Steve's terrible tease didn't already get you there, here's what you're in for. We're going to talk about Montreal's injury problems with Galchenyuk, and it actually kind of links back to Carey Price last season. And it's just a very interesting connection. We're not sure if you can prove it, but it's something that you have to watch out for with every team. Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to talk about the All-Star game and the fact that Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin are going to be on the same line.
I don't know, man.
Crosby shows up.
There are a few days to go, sir. I don't know.
And also, the Sens quietly made a really good signing yesterday.
You think?
I think so.
I guess we'll talk about it.
We will. Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast brought to you by Panago Pizza. After all, it's what's on the inside that counts, right? And it should be pizza. We'll see you in the online section, sportsnet.ca.
How does your life go when the podcast ends? Well, I'll give you a suggestion for something you should listen to once the podcast is over. Our last episode. And then after that, you should listen to this. Sportsnet tweets, Nazem Kadri joined Hockey Central at noon to make his intentions known. He wants to be in the Selke conversation. Retweets! Oh, yes.
Steve!
Oh, yes. Kadri for Selke is back! It is back with a vengeance, baby!
Naz brought it back. He brought it back.
Oh, he absolutely brought it back. Hey, you know what brought it back? A Western Canadian team. Every single matchup against a Western Canadian team has been really entertaining and nasty, and Kadri has been at the in the middle of it.
Are the Leafs playing Vancouver again? I don't think they are.
No, and that's the problem is they're done now. They've played Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver twice each, so they're done.
Honor.
But Kadri beans Daniel Sedin, and that creates one of the most hyped games of this entire season heading into it. There was the McDavid crazy game, which then led to a great matchup, great rematch in Edmonton that the Leafs won. And then the only difference is, okay, Leafs got killed by Calgary, and then Calgary comes to Toronto and gets killed by the Leafs. But it was nasty. Mm-hmm. And Kadri was the star of the game. Kadri, man, rising to the occasion.
How nice is it that 5 Canadian teams are in the playoffs right now?
It's so refreshing. I can tell you Rogers probably loves it.
Yeah. I would too.
Yeah.
And because of matchups, they have a really good chance of seeing at least 2 Canadian teams go to the second round.
Which would be great. Because if, 2 Canadian teams play in the first round, then you're guaranteed.
Yeah. Problem is you knock out one,
yes.
But whatever. There's only 7 of them.
I think it'd be interesting, too. I mean, Winnipeg needs to pull up their bootstraps a little bit here and get into the playoffs.
Winnipeg and Calgary are in the same boat where I go, why are you mailing it in? Why do you think you suck? Then again, I think Winnipeg was going for 3 straight wins the other day. Did they get it?
I don't know.
Or have they played that
By the
game
way,
yet?
yes, we got all your tweets. Pavlik's won 3 games. I'm sorry, but Winnipeg's been scoring the lights out. Let's not pretend that Andre Pavlik's the reason.
He allowed 3 goals in each of his first 2 games.
Another curse of the Steve Dangle podcast. Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh, yeah!
Last 3 starts. So he's 3-0, 1.32 GAA, 952 save percentage, 1 shutout.
You know what, though?
for him.
That's not a jinx. We talked about how he was performing poorly because he was. But what I said a few months ago was you have to make it work with him. You have to be patient and wait for him to get it back. Looks like he's starting to get it back.
The reason it's a story.
Or it's just a hot streak.
The reason it's a story is because Henrik Lundqvist is expected to be good.
Exactly.
And when he's not, that's a story.
Man,
and the reason
8.5 million reasons why he has to be good, okay?
The reason Pavlik's a story is because he's not expected to be good, and yet here he's won, 3 straight?
But he hasn't played well.
I think his
2 or
save
3
percentage
straight.
is less than 9.
No, but he made 1 really good save. So, man, this is Jonas Gustafsson when he came to the Leafs. This is it. Have a bad game, make a really athletic save because you're out of position anyway, and everyone loves you. Mike Ulmer used to write for MapleLeafs.com, and I love Mike Ulmer. But and I loved this article when he wrote it. Remember when Gustafsson made that ridiculous save on the Red Wings? It was a preseason game. It was a 2-on-0. Jan Mursak, Rhino, stopped by Gustafsson. This huge roaring call by Jim Houston. And Ulmer,
By the way, he makes great calls.
he does. He's just got that voice.
There's so much color to his voice. It's amazing.
I one of the very rare times I was in the media gondola at the Air Canada Centre. One time I was in the bathroom doing what you do when you go to the bathroom, and in walks Jim Houston having a conversation with somebody, and
I'm going for a pee.
Yeah, I'm going for a pee now. Here we go. Oh, that's good.
That's a relief.
and I'm just in there like the voice from the NHL video games just walks into the bathroom.
Life's surreal sometimes, isn't it?
Andre Pavlik, by the way, is sitting at a 907 save percentage.
Wow.
He's 2-1.
Ever so slightly above what a Palmerese goalie usually is.
You better move him into the quadrant.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we got to move him into the quadrant. Bad goalies performing good.
He did say, there's talking about a guy with weird confidence. I don't know if he has confidence in saying this. I was watching his press conference after his first game, and they're like, hey,
Pavlik or Maurice?
Pavlik.
Okay.
And he's like, they were like, well, you had some great saves out there. And he's like, yes, we win, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but, next game could be really bad. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And it reminded me of Dominic Hasek, who was in the playoffs once
they're both Czech.
It might have been against the Leafs, but it was something like he said something along the same lines. It's like, yes, I make all these saves, but the next game could be big lose. And you're like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying that? But that might be, maybe it's a Czech thing.
Europeans,
I don't know,
they're
man.
the best quotes.
They are
because they're just so honest.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
Sorry, where I was going with that is Ulmer writes a story and he waxes poetically about that save. And remember, we don't know anything about Gustafsson at this point other than he just made this save and he's the new goalie in town and the Leafs have had bad goaltending for the past few years, so he might be the answer. And so Ulmer writes, there comes a moment with a new goaltender where they make a certain type of save and you would trust them with your firstborn child. This was that save.
Ooh.
Boy, did he end up being wrong. But that was the feeling in Leafs Nation at the time. And I got to wonder if it's not a little bit similar for some Winnipeg Jets fans. They're just looking for anyone to make a damn save. It doesn't even matter if they perform well as long as you win. Just win, baby. Just win. That's how it's got to feel. So I can't hate on people going, see?
Maybe if Winnipeg made a change and actually went out and got a goaltender while the market was soft. Maybe they signed James Reimer.
What's the need? What's the need
need where they're getting 907 goaltending? I love. Oh wow, damn!
It's an improvement. It's an improvement.
True. This team's too good to not be in the playoffs. Sorry, just too good.
I think I agree. The only thing that would put them out, it's so competitive, right?
Goaltending would put them out.
Yeah.
They're too good.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're too good.
Mm-hmm. The difference is Chad Johnson.
Give him Freddie Anderson.
Yeah. Give him Chad Johnson. There's another guy. What did the Flames pay for him? Wasn't he just a free agent signing?
I think so. I don't know.
Then again, we're disobeying our own advice, where we go, why not just sign this guy? Well, maybe that guy didn't want to sign with that team.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't the Leafs sign this guy? Well, maybe he didn't want to come to the Leafs. Why didn't the Jets sign this guy? Well, maybe he didn't want to go to the Jets.
I highly doubt that James would be too adverse to going
James.
back home.
So, we know you want to start a family. You got this wife and everything, and you're about to sign a long contract. Do you want to go to Winnipeg?
Or Florida. All right, fair.
Well.
All right, maybe. I just feel like you'd want to go home. Anyway.
I don't know.
Montreal. There's an injury.
Ah, yes.
And Jesse, you brought this up, so I'm going to let you run with it.
Jesse made a good
You're making a
observation.
connection here.
Saturday, Galchenyuk returned. Well, he's playing his fifth game after returning to injury. Okay. He re-aggravates his knee, the same one that he was out with, and then he finishes the game, and now he's missing tonight's game with Calgary. And Therrien says he re-aggravated the knee and he's got to sit out. And then they got the All-Star break coming up, so he's going to get a week off. But we look at the history. When we say he came back in week 6 of his 6 to 8 week evaluation.
Oh.
So is that too early? Because the same thing happened with Carey Price last season, and he ended up being out for the entire season.
See, this is a very tricky scenario because you got what Galchenyuk's saying, which is probably I want to come back. I'm just making that assumption. You got what the doctor says, which I assume he would have to be cleared by doctors. And then you got to wonder, what's the coach saying? And I don't want it to seem like we dump on Michel Therrien at every turn.
We dump on Michel Therrien.
We do. And also, this isn't the first time this has happened. And I don't think it was just Price either. Was he rushed back?
There are certain teams with certain injury problems when you really pay attention. The Leafs used to be
the Leafs under Carlisle.
Prime with this. Yeah.
Oh my dear God, the Leafs under Carlisle.
We used to see it all the time where a player would come back too early and then they'd they'd aggravate an injury and they'd be out. So they'd be in and out, which messes up your rhythm and your fitness and your everything and your confidence. And you never play the same that year. You just don't play the same because you're hurt.
And then maybe you don't play the same the rest of your career.
Whereas if you'd stayed out a couple extra weeks and just healed, 3 or 4 games, 5 games. It's 5 games. If the team is truly good, team will be okay without you.
And now we got Morgan Riley with the Leafs. Mm-hmm. There's 2 games left before the All-Star break.
He's not playing.
No way. No way.
Just sit him.
One more note. When he came back, his first game back, they played, and then they played 5 games in 7 days up to Saturday.
That's kind of irresponsible. Now, how did he perform in those games? Because if I remember correctly, I remember reading some Andrew Berkshire tweets saying he was very good.
Yeah, he did have a goal.
Well, the thing about him is he's a pretty good hockey player. So you would expect him to be.
But if he's Bruck, if his knee's messed up, he's not going to be as good.
True.
It's like Tyler Johnson, Stanley Cup final a couple of years ago. Well, can't shoot the puck. You shouldn't be on the ice. I don't care how fast he is. Oh, he knows to be in position. He can't do anything with the puck once he gets it.
Last 5 games, 2 goals, 2 assists.
Pretty good. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hard to blame the Habs for wanting that back.
Absolutely.
Maybe he just re-aggravated it. Maybe it just happened.
Should he have taken the...
This is one of those things where I want Andrew's opinion.
Yeah.
I think we're sensitive to it because we're Leaf fans and we saw it. We saw the medical staff here mishandle things time after time after time for years. I don't think it happens anymore. I don't see it.
Well, the Lou Lamoriello administration...
Yeah, which
has just been, you're all sitting. But our reference for that is they were trying to lose. So I don't know.
But look at Josh Levo.
They were trying to keep him buried so they didn't lose him.
If he misses these last 5 games and then tonight, then he's on his 6 to 8 week evaluation that they originally gave him.
He's on schedule.
And then he just comes back after the All-Star break.
Maybe he plays those 5 games. He was good in those 5 games. Mm-hmm. He misses the next, 2 or 3? Mm-hmm. And then he's back.
Okay.
And if that's the case, well, maybe it's fine. But we don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. I think we're going to have to revisit this, obviously. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to revisit this after the All-Star break.
I want Andrew's opinion. Andrew, if you're listening, I want your opinion now.
If he doesn't return the second the All-Star break is done, I think they goofed.
Yeah.
Who, the Leafs?
No, the Habs.
Oh, Habs. Okay.
Oh, well, Morgan Riley, I mean, someone fell on his leg, right?
Yeah.
I also didn't see what happened to Chucky. So, yeah, I call him Chucky. It's my boy.
Yeah.
Oh, while it's fresh in my mind, you brought up Josh Levo. Funny about that. So I've been playing with the draft tool on Cap Friendly, the expansion draft tool, which I clearly still don't understand because people were pointing out something I did wrong. But getting Seth Griffith back, I think was good for a couple of reasons. One being that they needed the scoring on the Marlies for sure. And who knows, he could be a decent player down the line. But 2, I think it's likely that whoever the Leafs lose in the expansion draft is a prospective winger. Unless it's Martin Marincin. Corrado's not getting claimed, right? So
no.
If it's not Martin Marincin, and we're also assuming the Leafs protect Martin Marincin, right? So if it's not Martin Marincin or Connor Carrick.
You think they're going to protect Martin Marincin?
You can protect 3 defensemen, right? So Gardner and Riley, boom, boom. And then one of Marincin or Connor Carrick. I would assume Connor Carrick.
Yeah.
It's not a foregone conclusion. So if one of the Leafs defensemen are not taken, I was going through their lineup. I protected Komarov, which again, that's not a guarantee. I also protected Matt Martin, which that's also not a guarantee. But there are all these guys up front. Kirby Reichel, you got to protect.
Who did you have to protect Kirby Reichel?
Yep.
Why do you have to?
He started his NHL career kind of early with the Blue Jackets.
Oh, no. To keep him, you have to protect him.
Yeah.
Okay, so no. But when you
don't have to.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's where I wanted to... I was like, what?
But he's eligible.
I got to the point where there was one spot left, and I'm like, I got to protect
someone.
Leipzig, or I got to protect Griffith, or I got to protect Levo, or I got to... Put it this way, I think whoever they lose will be similar to Seth Griffith. It might even be Seth Griffith. In which case, the Leafs get off scot-free.
Are there any regulars that the Leafs could lose?
Yeah.
Can they protect all their main players? Because I've heard
who do you define as a main player? Because I would say Marincin and Carrick Well, Carrick certainly.
Carrick certainly. I don't think you protect Marincin.
I think you're probably right.
I think Marincin's more replaceable than Carrick, and I think that's how you have to look at it. Like, how can we replace this? But I was, and I haven't played with this tool, but do Bozak or Komarov or any of those guys, like, can they protect Bozak, Komarov, Kadri,
They're going to be
JVR?
exposed, yeah.
Who will be exposed?
Kadri, JVR, Bozak.
How much room do we have here? Who's getting protected?
Well, this is what I'm saying.
7 forwards, 3D, or 8 anything, 1 goalie.
I think what Adam's getting at is
will we have
who
to
do they
expose
have
one
to
of the
protect?
major players?
So they got to protect Kadri. Got to. Well, I would say protect Bozak. You can't lose
No, you can't
a
lose
center of that quality for nothing when centers are so expensive in this league. So Kadri, Bozak, JVR,
Morgan Riley.
provided he's still a Leaf. No, just forwards.
Oh, just forwards? Okay.
Yeah. Do you have the tool up?
Yeah. I'm clicking
Okay,
at
thank
the top.
God. Doing it off the top of my head is not working. Okay. So who do you got?
Who needs to be protected?
Yes.
So we run a Lupul, like Kadri, JVR, Bozak, Mahalik, Komarov, Greening, Martin, Reichel, Brown, Smith, Lightsip, Griffith, Levo, Freeze.
Phrase.
Sorry.
You're protecting Connor Brown, you're protecting Komarov, you're protecting Bozak, you're protecting Kadri, you're protecting JVR. That's 5.
You got 2 left.
Who else is on that list?
Kadri, JVR, Bozak, Komarov. Who's your 5th?
Brown.
Connor Brown. Okay.
So now you got 2 left.
No, you get 2 left. And this is for forwards, right?
Yes.
Well, are you going 7 forwards 3D? Or are you going
That's what I would do.
8
Well, yeah, because
anything?
you got to protect your goalie.
Yeah, you're not going to
Well,
go
no
8 and
goalies.
2.
You're not going to go. Okay. Okay.
At least I don't think
7
so.
forwards, 3D.
Then you're going to expose Carrick, and he probably gets taken. I
Yeah,
would assume.
exactly. I would take Carrick.
Do you think Las Vegas would take one of Sparks or Bebo?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go. I mean,
I mean, they can only make 1 pick per team,
Yeah.
right?
Sparks,
even
you know
then they-
what? Underrated. Sparks has been climbing. Yeah, climbing. He's been
Okay.
getting a little better.
So who are other 2 forwards?
Who are the other 2 forwards?
Left, like Lupul, Mahalik, Greening, Martin, Reichel, Smith, Leipzig.
Here, leave out the buried guys.
Okay.
Well, does Lupul have to be protected? Does he have a no move?
I don't
No, he's exposed. He
He's
can be taken
exposed.
if they want him.
Yeah,
But that
so-
doesn't make sense.
Here, leave out Lupul, leave out the buried guys. Who's left?
Mahalik and Like are gone anyway.
yeah.
Their
And
contracts are
Greening.
up.
Right. Martin, Reichel, Smith, Leipzig, Griffith, Levo, Freeze.
So there's 7 guys. Now, do you leave Matt Martin exposed? Is his contract what protects him? And before you go, why would you protect Matt Martin? Okay, well, why would they offer him 4 years at $2.5 million? The Leafs clearly like him. They clearly think he has a purpose. I don't think they want to lose him.
I think they protect Matt Martin.
Now, you run a risk, right? You run a risk because of how expensive he is, you might not lose him.
No, but I feel like Vegas would take a guy like that.
Here's some interesting things you have to also consider.
Although Tom's running the show there a little bit. Tom from General Manager, so maybe not.
Kirby Reichel has to play 38 more games to be eligible.
Okay.
38 more professional games.
Professional games.
Oh.
Leipzig has to play 40. Levo has to play 38.
Does that count playoffs or just regular
Leipzig,
season?
by the way, got hurt.
Oh.
Marlies are banged up. If the Leafs lose someone on the wing, the Leafs can afford to lose 1 guy in the wing. Can't afford to lose 2 at this point. I guess they could, but then you're really digging deep into the system there. Maybe give Andreas Johnson a shot because he's a little older. 19 points in 40 games.
So that doesn't seem as bad as it seemed.
Yeah, so all I was getting at there was, like, let's say they lose Levo. Well, then you replace him with Griffith, who is Levo.
And by the way, for everybody screaming out, what about Zaitsev? You don't re-sign him until after the expansion draft.
Well, yeah, you don't have to protect him.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you don't have to protect him
And I
either.
think there was a weird thing with Connor Brown, too. There's all kinds of stuff. If there is any team that is prepared for this, it is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Man, like Brandon Pridham. I still say one of the most valuable people in that organization.
Absolutely.
Such a good signing. Such a good signing.
Yeah. If they make a trade for a defenseman, they make it, 8 players total? 7, what is it?
No. It's 10.
10, but what's the...
You can do 7 and 3 or 8 and 2, I think it is.
No, it's just 8 flat. It'll be 8 and then the goalie.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
7 and 3 or 8 flat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then I think if they did make a trade, which I still think there's an outside chance of, but I mean outside, like not outside of the ballpark, outside the front door of the ballpark, far away. If it were to happen, they would protect that defenseman.
I think they're in a better position for the expansion draft than pretty much anyone else, and I don't think they're going to change that. I don't think they're interested. I don't think look, they're in a playoff spot. They're doing well. They're one of the youngest teams in the league, and they're well prepared for something that a lot of teams are not prepared for. And they have a lot of picks. What on earth should they do besides nothing?
Nothing.
They're perfectly prepared for the summer.
Leave it nothing. Leave it at nothing.
Perfectly prepared. Aren't they?
I agree.
Unless they're missing something, they are amazingly prepared. Whether they make the playoffs or not.
Who are you protecting for your defense?
Well, Riley Gardner.
Carrick.
And I would like to protect Carrick. A lot of people are going to be like, but I mean, look, the guy's got potential. He's still young.
And he's played pretty damn well. What's wrong?
There's blemishes. There's blemishes for sure. You know what? He looks like a rookie defenseman.
Yeah. And you know who else
got
there were blemishes
potential.
with? Jake Gardner.
Yep.
I'm not saying Connor Carrick is Jake Gardner. I'm just
No.
saying there were some blemishes for Jake Gardner.
Yeah.
Right? The guy struggled for a while.
I love people
But he's
started
great.
tweeting me like little things about Carrick. Like he's unpleasant. Hey, I'm like, yeah, he is. You're just learning this now. Just let him get that confidence. And I want to see the nasty prick that I saw in the AHL playoffs last year. He was a miserable person to play against. That and he scored hat tricks,
Wow.
which I don't think he's going to do in the NHL.
Yeah.
But man, you get a Leafs defense that has already been putting up a fair amount of points, and you get to add Carrick to that a little bit.
And Shattenkirk.
And Shattenkirk. And Crosby. I mean, strike while the iron's hot, right?
That's right. Now, I want to have a little challenge with you, Steven.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to see if you can do this. But first, I've got to stop the Vox Pro because I have to export a file to do this properly. Okay?
Sure.
Give me
I
a
think
second.
my heart's going to stop from all this coffee.
All right, hang on. Okay, so there's this thing I've been wanting to do since Saturday night. And Steve, this is because of you that we're doing this, because you sent us this tweet.
Oh.
Okay?
Uh-oh.
So a guy
Should I read my interesting thing first?
A guy... Oh, yeah, read your interesting thing.
Okay, so
Let's interrupt this segment to interrupt the segment. Let's do
Well,
it.
because in the pause, I went, OMFG! You got to hear this!
Yeah, Steve said, oh my fucking God. And we were like, Steve, David Clarkson getting traded, Dion Phaneuf getting traded, that's an OMFG.
Yeah.
But this is a what?
But this is not only a Steve Dangle OMFG, this is a on my second consecutive coffee OMFG.
Oh, okay.
So instead, hey, here's an interesting thing from Ineffective Math on Twitter. 4th place in the Pacific is on pace for 91 points.
Wow.
4th in the Central is on pace for 91 points. 4th in the Atlantic is on pace for 90 points. 4th in the Metropolitan, 101 points.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's unbelievable. Anyway,
Steve,
go ahead with your better thing.
Rewarded with the 8th seed.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Now,
R.I.P. Habs.
Steve sent us a clip of a transcript of Don Cherry.
Oh.
A word-for-word transcription of Don Cherry describing Jared Spurgeon's goal. He's playing for the Wild, obviously, and scored a beautiful goal.
Yeah, this tweet went pretty viral.
Goal of the week. And it's hysterically funny because in only Don's way can it be described, right? So, Steve, you do a Don Cherry impression.
Oh,
I want
okay.
you to read the
you want me to
tweet
okay.
as though you're Don Cherry. And then I'm going to play the actual clip so you can hear how Don Cherry did it. And we'll see how close Steve gets
Okay.
it. Okay.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. Oh, man. Because I watched this live, and I remember just being so caught up in the footage that I wasn't paying attention
I wasn't
to what he
paying
said.
attention either. And I was at Steve's house.
That's right. That's right. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this here, boy. Watch. Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this here, boy. Watch this kid. No, see,
It's hard.
disconnected that it's hard to read.
Yeah, that's my point. All right, try to get through it. Try to get through
Okay.
it. Keep going. Just keep going.
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this here, boy. Watch this here, kid. This is put it in. Watch this. Gets it out. He's way to go. He plays baseball. Watch this here, goal of the week. Way to go and listen.
And listen.
They need all the help they can get, and way to go, Jared Boy, put it in there, and he got it in.
All right. Now, from the top.
Can I do it one more time?
Yes, try to get it all the way through. I figured it would take a couple tries. Okay.
This is really hard.
This is great.
Jared.
We have to do this with Don sometime.
Yeah, I gotta.
I'd like to see
Don, can you read your own words?
Could you recreate
Oh
this?
my god! I think I would walk out.
Would you think he'd get mad at us for that?
he'd be
I think
mad.
he'd have a good sense of humor about it.
I think he'd take it as you're mocking him.
Well, we're not.
Well, is this
It's
mocking
just, that's
him?
a Donism. Like, Don can't deny that. Anyway.
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this here, boy. Watch this here, kid. This is put it in. Watch this. Gets it out. He's way to go. He plays baseball. Watch this here. Goal of the week. Way to go. And listen, they need all the help they can get. And way to go, Jared boy. Put it in there. And he got it in.
Pretty damn good, Steve Dangle. Let's have a listen.
But anyway, Jared Spurgeon. Can we see the Jared Spurgeon?
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this here, boy. Watch this here, kid. This is put it in. Watch it. This it out. Hands way to go. He plays baseball. Watch this here. Goal of the week. Way to go. And listen, they need all the help they can get. And way to go, Jared boy. Put it in there. We got it in. We got it in.
Shea Weber.
Isn't that great? Do you want to play that one more time?
God bless him.
You want to play it again?
I mean, you know what? I don't agree with him all the time, but he is an 87-year-old man?
No, I think he's
82,
83.
Whatever, man. He's over 80 and he's on national television every week.
Killing it. Check. You want to hear it again?
Oh my God, yeah.
But anyway, Jared Spurgeon. Can we see the Jared Spurgeon?
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch this
Here,
here,
pause
boy.
it, pause it.
Kid.
There's an added beauty to this tweet that I didn't even recognize at first because I'm like, I don't think that's how you spell Jared Spurgeon. And
Jared
it's not,
Spurgeon.
but it's because he calls him Jared Spurgeon.
Here we go.
But anyway, Jared Spurgeon. Can we see the Jared Spurgeon?
Jared Spurgeon, goal of the week. Watch
here?
this here, boy. Watch this here, kid. This is put it in. Watch this. Hits it out. Hands way to go. He plays baseball. Watch this here. Goal of the week. Way to go. And listen, they need all the help they can get. And way to go, Jared boy. Put it in there. We got it in. We got it in.
Shea Weber.
You imagine, it's like, Don, can you describe, imagine Don Cherry as your math teacher.
Holy shit.
That's how my math teacher
All right,
sounded.
we got this guy Pythagoras, and he's got this theory. And you got your bedmass here. You got your division, daddy, mommy, and you got your brother, sister, and then divide, and you add it up, and you know. And that's how you long divide, kids.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, that was fun. I just thought we would just have some fun with that.
Oh my God.
So, okay, I thought quietly yesterday the Sens made a pretty good signing
Okay.
with Zach Smith. Am I
Yes.
wrong? Centerman?
I was thinking about this too.
$2.5 million a year for a centerman that gets half a point a game.
3.25.
Oh,
I believe.
3.25?
I think so.
Oh, I thought it was 4-year 12-0. Four-year extension, $12 million?
That's a lot different. Who's right?
Yeah. Divide that, Adam.
Sorry. Yeah, anyway.
Adam and I took math together.
This is why I'm bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought so $3 million a year?
3.25, I want to say.
3.25.
People were saying, there were people go, oh, it's too high. Everybody says that's instantly when someone is signed, it's
Just like
that's
the
too
rent.
high. Just like too damn high. It's too damn
Zach
high.
Smith's cap hit is too damn high.
Too damn high. Is it though? For what a centerman costs, and this guy scores, and he's got, I believe, 22 points in 44 games thus far.
Okay.
So that's
22
half.
points in 43 games.
43 games.
And what did he have last season?
36 in 81.
Okay.
For what a centerman costs, we were talking about this. Who's the example you always use for the $5 million in Tampa?
Valtteri Filppula.
Valtteri Filppula, $5 million guy.
Man, second line centers
So is
are so expensive.
Is Zach Smith the second line center?
No, but he's not getting second line center money. You know what he's getting?
Third line center money?
Good third line center money.
Would you call him an elite third liner?
I sure would.
But honestly, if that's what centerman costs, if Valtteri Filppula is a $5 million player, is Zach Smith not a $3.25 million center?
You look at like what Antoine Vermette fetched. You look at now the argument I think a lot of people would make is try to find someone who is like a cheap journeyman UFA or a rookie to fill that spot. But 3.25 for a center, and if you're comfortable with him both ends of the ice, he's going to contribute a little bit. That's not a terrible contract. Centers are so expensive now. We think, right-handed defenseman. I think it's centers. I think centers might be the premium in the NHL.
They're the ones making. I mean, you never see a center even traded.
Now, let me throw this out there.
Except for Ryan Johansson last year?
Absolutely. Let me throw this out there. Yeah, but who was he traded for? A right-handed shot defenseman.
Right.
So it was two highly sought-out commodities traded for each other. What's one of the best contracts in the league? We always talk about it. We always say, JVR.
Great contract.
Great contract. He hits UFA. What's he make? Like an extra $2 million on top of what he's making?
At least
6.25. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
How long until we talk about Nazem Kadri having one of the best contracts in the NHL?
If we could go through that again, what would be? It's a 6-year deal worth how much?
Josie, can you bring that up? It's 4 point something.
4.25, I believe.
I want to say 4.5.
What were your guesses?
I said 4.5.
4.25.
4.5.
Because Morgan Riley got the 5.
That's right.
There.
And Jake Gardner's 4.25.
Kadri is on like...
He is not.
What is he?
4.05.
Oh my God.
Who's this?
4.05. Jake Gardner.
Oh, Gardner. Oh, boy, that's a good one, too.
Holy smokes, yeah.
That's a good one,
That was a great
too.
Nonis signing.
Yeah, Nonis. I don't know.
It was Nonis.
Yeah, it was Nonis. It was.
Give the man his due.
Gotta give it to him. Pay the man his money.
Which they are.
Kadri hits the open market. Let's say, I always say, let's pretend their contract expires end of the season. What does Kadri get if the game against Calgary was the last game he plays all season? What does he get if he goes to free agency?
Can you bring his stats up, Jesse?
The guy's on close to a 40-goal pace. I don't know if he'll sustain that, but let's say he's going to break 30. He's on like a 35-goal pace. As a center, especially the reputation he's built over this year as like kind of a shutdown guy.
A shutdown guy who can score 30 goals?
Kadri gets at least 5.5, maybe 6.
What would you like to know?
I would like to know his points to date.
He has 33 points in 45 games.
So he's on pace for like
60
about
points.
60 points, 35 goals. As a guy, you play against everyone's top centers. He gets Nuge money. Whatever Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is making, I think that's what Kadri gets.
Nuge is making in the 6.
Yes, he sure is.
Also interesting are his power play goals. He's got 10 this year, and his previous season high was 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta, for as unlucky as Kadri was last year, he is equally lucky this year.
Is he, though?
I don't know, because he is doing
His
things a
shooting
little
percentage is
differently.
pretty normal, isn't it?
14.2.
It's a little high.
That's a little high, but it's not crazy.
What's a normal shooter? 11? 10?
Well, a guy of Kadri's caliber, maybe 11, 12.
Okay, so it's not crazy.
He's at a
yet.
10.2 in 2015.
He was?
Yeah, because last
season?
year he had last year he had the crazy one where it's 6.5.
Yeah.
And the year before he was at a regular 10.2.
So he's due for a little bit over the bar in terms of average.
Even if he slows down, though, he's going to crack 30.
Yeah.
There's
If you
way on
slow
earth.
down a couple percentages to normal, that's well over 30. That's 32, 33.
Yeah. There is no way Kadri hits the open market like this upcoming summer and gets less than 5.5 or 6. There's no way. And he's making 4.5 as a center in the NHL when centers are getting paid through the nose. You know when that's going to come in handy?
When they have to re-sign Marner and Matthews.
Yeah, a little bit. Spend your money wisely.
And Nylander.
And I know we've talked about that being a no man's land in terms of value. Well, not when you're paying a guy 4.5 who you should be paying 6.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when you overpay at 5, when you're overpaying at 5, maybe we should amend it. When it's like, wow, that's top end money for a guy. You know what I mean?
And it's amazing, like what decimals will do. Because if Kadri makes 5, we go, oh, is he really a $5 million player? Signs for 4.5, and you go, yeah, okay. Don't even really talk about it.
Even after last year, which was arguably...
Was there any worry that he would live up to that?
No.
Not much.
Seemed like a fair deal.
Yeah.
Bernier was like 2 years. Whew. That was
I tried to
weird.
defend that, I think, at the time, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kadri, man. That's so wicked. I saw there was a great tweet of Kadri to all his critics from the past few years, and it's Mr. Bean in a car going, flipping everyone off.
Well, he's been outstanding. And from what we've heard, too, from the dressing room, and obviously there were, I don't know how deep the personality issues would have been, when he got suspended by the team, or what would have happened. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming it was a sleep-in. It seems like that has all turned around. And, I think Nazem Kadri knows. And you've had great bosses, right?
Yeah.
Great bosses that have inspired you.
Yeah.
And then you've had bosses that have been brutal.
Yeah.
I've had brutal bosses, and I've had bosses. I have a boss now that is inspiring. Like in radio, love this guy. And I got to tell you, it makes a difference every single day. And Nazem Kadri probably has to look at Mike Babcock and go, okay, yeah, I could go sign for bigger money somewhere else, or I can play for this guy and make a little bit less, but a longer term. They probably got him on that 6th year to bring that money down. Mm-hmm. So I'm still making the money over a longer period, and I get to play for this guy.
And the Leafs signed him, by the way. So the great thing about the 6-year contracts for Kadri and Riley, if I'm not mistaken, the Leafs bought, within those 6 years, 4 UFA years.
Yeah.
For Kadri. Such a great contract, man. Such a great contract.
Yeah. So it's
He's
awesome.
what, 31 at the end of it?
Yeah.
Come on. That's a beautiful deal. It's a beautiful, beautiful
Great.
deal.
And it sort of keeps him motivated because at 31, he's still going to want to go out and make big money, and he'll deserve it if he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, the Leafs will be going for their 3rd cup by then.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And will Babcock be up by then?
Maybe 4,
Yeah.
conservatively.
Will Babcock's contract be up by then? Because he's
No.
got an 8 year.
He'll still have like a year left or 2.
Wow.
No.
Amazing.
Well, oh man, I'm trying to remember when he said it. I think it was at the World Cup. He said something like, well, things are going to go better in Toronto. And, I got an 8-year deal here. And then things are going to be going so good that I signed for another 2. And then I'm here for 10. And then maybe then I'll retire. Something like that.
Well, my favorite thing was when Canada won, he was like, this is the way things are going to go in Toronto.
That's the way things are going to go here in Toronto. What a ballsy move. They had just finished last.
Truculent, you might say.
Truculent.
Pugnastic. Pugnasty.
But you got to give Kadri some credit. He developed himself into a fine young man. Mm-hmm. But these Leafs don't look the same as they did a couple of years ago. Mm-mm. And Kadri doesn't either.
Bozak doesn't.
We spent a lot of Kadri's early 20s as Leaf fans going, what is he? Because I remember he was marketed as this guy who
was supposed to be a John Tavares. Supposed to be a goal scorer.
Which, no.
And he has scored a lot of goals, but it's for me with Kadri, we didn't know because the team didn't seem to they didn't give him parameters. They didn't give him goals. And the main thing that I think a great
be better.
Play defense.
Be a
what
good
the
pro.
hell does that mean? I think that's the problem with the Leafs from before. Babcock, each and every player when they go out, they know what their job is, and he just says, "Do your job." And we'll be fine.
I read something about Soshnikov, and he wants to be shooting more and dangling more and all that, but he knows his role. He's on the 4th line.
Yeah.
So we were criticizing him for not having any points. Well, how is he supposed to get points? He's on the 4th line.
That's his role right now. It might not be his role forever, but it's his role right now. And that's what I love about Babs is you go out to the ice prepared. You have a goal. This is my job. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. And these are the only things that I have to worry about because that's my job.
And it is pretty ruthless, though. Because for every Kadri, there's a Peter Holland. And
but also
Corrado.
for every Kadri, there's 10 Peter Holland skill levels.
Well, and this is the thing.
I'm sorry, but Peter Holland might have scored coming back from Arizona, but it's not with Arizona. But it's not like he lit things up.
I don't think he's done a whole heck of a lot. He had a good opening couple games. I don't know. We'll see. He hasn't been there very long.
Can we talk about Frank Corrado?
Oh, okay. What's there to talk about?
So we haven't talked about him since he played.
Yeah, I felt bad, man. You get so few shots, you can't miss. And he missed.
I think he missed. I don't think, and maybe this is something we as fans didn't consider. Because we mistrust management so much because of where we've been through. In terms of, Randy Carlyle making questionable decisions, Dave Nonis making questionable decisions, even Brian Burke making questionable decisions, and John Ferguson Jr. and Ron Wilson. It's been years and years and years of questionable decisions. Maybe Frank Corrado's just not good enough.
So here's what I said, because we talked about where his fitness is at, and we're not sure. He took penalties, making brain-dead decisions. How is his hockey sense supposed to be crisp?
I don't think it. I can't.
How could
I can't
it
imagine it would be.
Well, he had the conditioning stint. Yeah,
I don't think that's
7 games in the minors is how he's supposed to be crisp. Come on now. And Nikita Zaitsev took 2 penalties in the first period a couple games ago. The only difference is it didn't cost his team, I guess. Poor Corrado.
Corrado.
He's
Corrado
played
took 2
2
penalties in
games.
5 minutes.
I know. He took 2 penalties in 5 minutes, and in his one previous game, he took a penalty against the Penguins that led to a goal. Poor guy, man. He might get another shot if Marinson's not good to go against Detroit or Philly. Who do the Leafs have first? Detroit?
Yeah, and don't confuse this for I don't want Corrado to succeed. That's not the case. But I also have to say we're assuming this guy's good enough.
I am. Because I saw him play. He was fine. It wasn't that bad.
Gotta tell you?
No. I mean last season.
Oh, last year. He didn't look good to me this season.
How could he possibly? They've assassinated this asset. Corrado is going to have to hope that he somehow escapes the Leafs and is able to rebuild his career. Because what's he to do?
But maybe he was never good enough to make this team.
We'll never know.
Right. We will never know. In fact, but from what we do know, he's not.
But now it's whose fault is that? I think it's a little bit of shared fault.
Sure.
This guy wanted to be a Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
It's Detroit, by the way.
It is Detroit? Okay.
That's the start of a 7-game road trip.
Woo!
Ew. Yeah, but at least it's broken up.
Yeah.
By the All-Star break?
So
They'll go Philly on Thursday, then Tuesday in Dallas.
Shucks. And that's when you make up some of those games against Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Because
then you're just back
on
to
the
back.
road. Leafs have been a good road team, though.
Into it.
I hope they get Riley back.
I think they will. Day to day. Anyway, I with Frankie, and it's not a thing on him, and maybe he just wasn't. Maybe he's just not.
I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe.
And now, it's at the point where he's 8th. We know he's 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way we're going to see him again, I'm not even cheering
Is
to
if
see him
Marinson's
again
down,
because someone has to be
and
hurt.
Polak and Hunwick are down.
Someone has to be hurt, and I'm not into that. And Hunwick and Polak have grown on me a little bit
Because they can kill penalties.
Hey man, Leafs have a good penalty kill, and they kill penalties. What do you want?
Exactly. All right, let's do the press conference.
They deserve credit for that.
The presser.
Oh, my questions are never good, by the way.
Are you going
I've
to
been
apologize?
conditioned to just take shit. What?
Wow.
Are you going to apologize to the Atlanta Falcons? Last podcast, you said they had no chance against Green Bay.
Because Green Bay was playing out of their mind. I did say that.
Are you going to apologize?
Do I have to apologize for having an opinion on that?
Here, follow-up question from Steve D. Are Atlanta Falcons fans going to thank Adam Wild for the Wild jinx, which applies to football?
Do I have to apologize for that, or do I just say I'm wrong? Because I don't have a problem saying I'm wrong. I don't know what I have to apologize for. I didn't say the Atlanta Falcons are bad people. I just thought that Green Bay was better and were playing out of their mind. That's the thing. See, I don't have to apologize for my opinion. I could just say I'm wrong, right? I was wrong.
Sure. So the answer
So
is no.
I'm not going to apologize for that. I believed one thing, and it turned out not to be the case.
For the Super Bowl...
And I was right about the Patriots and Steelers, even though I'm a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
Right?
For the Super Bowl, I am going to do what any non-football fan should do, and that's stuff myself stupid.
Oh, okay.
And no, I'm not going to bet. I'm going to cheer for the Falcons because they're not the Patriots.
Yeah, I might cheer for the Falcons,
And
too.
at the end of the day, I don't actually care. I want free reign to have as much chicken wings as I can eat.
Trivia. How many games do the Leafs play in the 28th day month of February?
Oh dear.
What?
Is the number... Okay, how many games did the Leafs play in February, which is only 28 days? I'm hoping the number is less than 14.
15.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 13.
14. They
14,
play every
man.
other day in February.
Damn.
Steve.
This is gonna be a grind because they have a lot of games to make up.
But they're young.
They're gonna start falling. I think they might need that depth. What?
I think the Leafs are going to start playing awful. My name is Steve Dangle.
No, getting injured is what I was saying.
Oh, I think it's falling in the standings. Jesse and I were talking last night about how upset you were about the Freddie Anderson contract last summer. And it
You guys keep bringing that up.
That's why it makes me laugh. No, because you're
Was
so
I that upset though? I think you're overstating it.
You were pretty
You
upset.
were pretty upset, and
You
even
had
if
an
it wasn't on the
emotional
show,
outburst.
in private you were. And it's not because I
just forgot them.
Listen, man, it's not because you were wrong in that particular instance. It was because you were so passionate about it.
Because
You were so scared,
Man.
and it's like sometimes with you, you're like, it's like, wow, man. This is the moment when bad stuff starts to happen. You are it's like,
Yeah.
welcome to Worst Case Scenario starring Steve Dangle.
Dude, when it was rumored, remember there were a few hours where it was like the Leafs are in hot pursuit of Chris Russell. I couldn't leave my house. Like I was so frightened that they might offer this guy, and some people would be like, "Oh, he hasn't been that bad for the Oilers." The rumor was he was going to make over $5 million.
Boy, did his agent misread that market.
But whatever, he still got a good deal out of it. But I did not want that so bad, so bad. That rumor was so bad that they signed Polak and Martin, and I was like, "Cool, good."
It was not. It just makes me laugh. So do you think the Leafs will grind this through, though? You might see some injuries. Do you think they'll come out... If they come out of
I
the...
hope so.
Do you think they'll come out 500 or above or below?
Above. Now, what do we count as 500? Because if you look at the Leafs' record, they are actually below 500. They've lost more games than they've won.
Oh.
But 9 of those losses
Or
were
stupid
in
shootouts.
overtime or shootout.
So what... Okay, let's look at
I think
it like
6
this.
shootout losses.
What if it's...
6 or 7.
how many points are they going to come away with?
Out of how many? Oh, like at the end of the season?
There's 28 potential points up for grabs in February.
Oh, you mean in February?
Oh,
How many points do they get?
15.
That's pretty low.
It's above 500, though.
I'm going to say 20.
I hope you're right.
I think it's because they're young. I don't think the injuries are going to bite them the same way.
I hope not.
I hope not, too.
Man, again, like,
is the line in the sand. This is where they die.
can you forgive me for being gun shy with the Leafs?
It's just great. Like, it's so funny because it's...
I've just been smacked so many times, and you're
Steve-
like, why are you afraid of getting smacked? I've been smacked too many times.
But all the evidence to the contrary exists. And yet here you are going, well, the sky's falling. Kids, it's over now.
You're asking me to trust that Lucy is not going to pull the football away. And all I've done is seen her pull it away time and time again.
That's true. I am... Yeah. You're right.
Dun, 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 dun,
Not that I don't love you.
dun, dun.
I think Steve's answer is a lot more reasonable.
Yeah?
It's probably going to be closer to 15 than
Closer
20.
to 15? You know who we got to give some credit, though?
10 wins?
You know who we got to
see.
give some credit with regards to Freddie Anderson? Certainly not me. Nick Kyprios. And I pointed at Jesse because that's where Kyprios was sitting. Kyprios said the Leafs will go as far as Freddie Anderson can take him. And I don't know if he counted on the rookies being this good, but absolutely right.
He's right.
You know what? Matthews goes down, Leafs are in a lot of trouble. Marner goes down, Leafs are in a lot of trouble. Freddie goes down,
It's
pack it in.
over.
You're
Pack
right.
it in. It's over.
You're absolutely right.
2 questions. Do you eat craft dinner with a fork or a spoon?
Fork.
Oh, interesting.
I often recommend spoon for things of that nature, but craft dinner is fork.
Any particular reason, do you think? Because I can't think of one.
No.
All right.
You got to stab the noodles.
But you could also just scoop. They're so tiny. You
You
can
could.
scoop them.
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm thinking about the feeling of a spoon, and it's just my body's like, that's not right. Ugh. No, you're supposed to have a fork.
You know why I do the fork? Because when you put a spoon in your mouth, it blocks your taste buds from the actual food, right?
You think so?
Yeah. So
I
the
think
fork
when you put
allows
the food
you to
in your mouth,
taste.
you taste it.
You'd think that, but you taste more metal than you do craft dinner with a spoon.
That's kind of
I
what
don't
I'm
know
thinking
how you
a little
stick
bit.
spoons in your mouth.
I like a normal person.
Do you put
maybe
the
a little
whole-
bit further back?
Yeah, Adam goes like this, and like but like there's no food on the spoon yet. He just licks it and he's like, "This tastes awful."
That's how I get my iron.
You should drop the food in your mouth with the spoon. And then eat it like that.
Sounds messy.
So then
You
you
should
get
talk to
all
yourself.
the
Not into
food.
it.
Here's the airplane, and just drop it in.
Listen, that's why I use a fork. You ask me why? That's why I do.
I think all Canadians have their own recipe for craft dinner.
I think they do too.
Do you have one?
Well, first off, white cheddar is the only option.
Okay. Now, do you buy the white cheddar or do you put the white cheddar in?
Well, you buy the white cheddar and you could put more white cheddar on. Or if you want to mix it up, put a little sharp cheddar, like sharp orange cheddar on top of the white cheddar. Whoa.
On top of the one that comes in the
Yeah, but I
powdered
want
one.
the powdered white cheddar.
Yeah.
I want that. And actually, I'm a big PC fan when it comes to that. Not
Oh, okay.
KD.
The knockoff KD.
Yeah, well, it's better.
It's macaroni and cheese is what it is.
Yeah, it's not KD.
It's like
Have you ever
Kleenex. No, it's tissue.
Velveeta?
I've never had Velveeta.
Oh my god. It's like the high class version of craft dinner.
Is it
The
like a?
high class version
Yeah.
of craft dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never had it.
It's incredible.
Is it
You should try
really?
Yeah. It's really
Noodles or spirals?
Either. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I like spirals because they carry more cheese.
See, a lot of people are very passionate about this. Spirals, yes, for that reason.
Yeah.
Do you do hot dogs?
No,
I used to.
no,
Love hot dogs.
no. In your craft dinner, no.
Why?
I don't know. Something about it I don't like.
Do you do
Bacon bits are okay,
Okay, bacon bits are good.
Bacon
so it's
bits are
basically carbonara.
kind of. Yeah.
You need like some egg in there, though.
Green onion.
Green onion.
pro tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip,
All right.
green onion.
Ketchup? No ketchup.
Ketchup.
It depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
Barbecue
Sometimes-
sauce sometimes.
No.
Hot sauce sometimes.
Yeah. What did you say? Hot sauce?
Sriracha.
I don't eat hot sauce, so no.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Love
Interesting.
hot sauce.
I could definitely go for some KD right now. I'm just saying. I could hit
Panago
that.
pizza. It's what's on the inside. That's yo, Katie pizza.
It's a thing. It's been done. Pasta pizza? Yeah.
But has it been done with Panago?
No.
Needs to. That's our pizza,
We
gentlemen.
need to Panago get some right now.
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about what would be the Steve Dangle podcast pizza. I think that's it.
Craft dinner?
Yeah, a little craft dinner, at least on it somewhere. Maybe the pizza can be several slices
it's-
of different things.
Instead of tomato sauce, it's maple syrup.
No,
No,
tomato sauce.
my neighbor used to get barbecue sauce underneath instead of tomato sauce. It tasted different. It used to always make me sick.
That's not pizza,
but I
though.
didn't care.
Also, that much barbecue sauce, that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
man.
it made me feel sick. It made me feel sick.
Like, I don't want to eat spoonfuls of barbecue sauce.
I would literally run laps around the block and then like barf and fall asleep like a drunk person
I
at
can
8 years
see
old.
that. I can see that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bleh. That's a bleh.
No. Final question.
No, go, Steve.
No,
What-
I was just gonna say I want to know everyone else's recipes. for
let's
Katie.
hear it. Let's put that up on our Reddit page. I would love to know.
I want it.
If you could have a conversation with 2007 you, how would the conversation go?
Just for Steve?
Both of you.
Oh God. Where were we in 2007? Did you start the videos?
Yeah, in October 2007.
2006. So I had just in October 2007, if that's the starting point, I had just, I believe, got on the air in Barrie. I was 19, so that would make sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's December 31st, 2007. What do you say to little old Steve and Adam?
What do you say to Steve? Steve?
Stick with the videos. Stick with your girlfriend. Because,
But you did that.
More importantly, yeah, I
It's
know.
not advice. 'Cause
I
you
know.
did it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
What I would have done.
Do what I did.
Exactly how I live.
Good job.
Just good.
It's just me high fiving my younger
And then
self.
you leave.
You're the best. You're the best, and guess what? You're gonna be better.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a self-congratulation fest! That
Wow.
would literally be congratulating myself.
This is an opportunity to improve yourself, Steve. Not just give yourself a high five.
I would say stop dicking around with this. Like, if you're gonna do the videos, do them seriously. Because I like where I am. I'm happy with where I am, but like, boy, like this is my 10th season, and it took a good 5 seasons to not suck. I think personally, Like I just
You're always going to be your harshest critic, though.
I am always going to be my harshest
People
critic,
grew
but
with
I was
you.
just talking shit like at the camera, which now I like at least think a little bit about what I'm going to say. I think about story structure. I don't interrupt myself to be like, you know what would probably be more interesting. Like, no, fucking go into it with a plan of what you're going to say, you idiot. Stop looking at the screen. You're talking to the camera, jackass. Get a better software. Make an investment in yourself. Stop buying hockey cards so you can afford a camera. Oh, I'm broke. Yeah, because you keep buying hockey cards, you stupid fuck. Stop buying $60 boxes of hockey cards. Yeah, well, I got an Ovechkin rookie in one of them. Yeah, in one of them, you broke prick.
That's good
See,
advice.
there we go.
There we go.
It came out. We had to push him.
All right. Adam, your turn.
Pre-drink more. You're spending too much at the bar.
Yes.
Sorry.
See, I didn't have a choice in pre-drinking in Halifax because I was so poor. I've eaten ketchup sandwiches. Speaking of Brian McGrath and sending people home and eating ketchup, I've eaten ketchup sandwiches because that's all I had was bread and ketchup.
Have you ever gotten breakfast and only eaten toast?
Yes.
Like you've gone out to breakfast?
Yep.
I did that once.
I used to go to a farm to get a box of chicken breasts so I could have protein, and they flash froze them. And it was in
does that
Nova
mean?
Scotia. It basically means they freeze them instantly. So when you thaw them, they're not as bad. So it was organic chicken, which was great because it was directly from the farm.
Farm to table.
But it also, and then I would have frozen vegetables. That is all I had. That was it. And I had $100 to party. I budgeted $100 to party every week, which is a lot when I think about it. And I would always like reward myself if I didn't spend it. So what I would do was literally drink. At pre-drink, I'd spend like $10-15 on pre-drinking. Then it's $10 to get into a bar or something like that, or $5 or whatever. And then you nurse a beer or two all night.
I mooched.
You mooched.
I mooched a lot. And I feel bad. Okay, so our friends Derek and Andy take advantage of this because I used to mooch off them hard. So now whenever we go to the bar, like I feel obligated to pay. Like we got shareable poutine and shareable, I think it was calamari the other day. We all ate it. I paid for both.
Because you owe them.
You owe them
They
for like
both have
4 years.
They're both gainfully employed, but I'm like, well, and they regularly will be like, yeah, remember that time you remember that time? And
It
I'm
sounds like them.
man, I had a few of your James Reddies. Like, can we calm down?
Yeah, really.
Can we calm down?
Oh,
You didn't
James
spend
Reddy.
a fortune on the. I drank James Reddy for
Gross.
a good year.
Yeah,
and a
okay.
half.
So have you ever had James Reddy, Jesse?
No.
James Reddy is literally toilet water. And
But it used to be a buck of beer, and it was 5.5.
and my friends used to drink it, and I would go back. I would go back home after working in Barrie or working in Halifax and go, what the hell is wrong with you
Talks
guys?
about
And they'd be
Scarborough
like,
it's
it's
the tundra.
best. It's
I
the
would
best.
go back home.
Well, I left.
Sorry, I know.
So it was you. Until you've left and come back, you don't know what it's like to go back home, right?
I know.
And that's why I say it that way. But for me, what I would say to my younger self, if someone treats you poorly,
Oh,
if someone treats you poorly, and you can't figure out why, chances are it's not your fault.
I like the Bill Burr advice. Never be afraid to fire a friend.
Yeah, and I meant this with ex-girlfriends. The things that I used to let people that I dated get away with, and then I would take the blame for, is unbelievable to me now. But I'm glad I went through that. But like I remember, the key is to never get too up or too down on yourself, right? In life, just never get too high on yourself and never get too low, because it's neither is true. And I remember just being like earth shattered about something that someone had said years and years ago. Like a girlfriend would say that something, or they would treat me like crap. And it took me a while to go, no, that's unacceptable. How come I've been putting up with this for several years, or a year and a half, or 8 months, or whatever it was? And you kind of go, oh, I don't have to do that?
What did I tell you when you met Caprice? What did I say was one of the most important things in a relationship? I'm not gonna lie, I had decent relationship advice for a
Steve
guy
did.
who had not been in many.
Set
Two, to
set
be
a,
exact.
set a precedent, as in teach them how do you want to be treated.
Precedence. Well,
Teach people how you want to be treated. I think it's fair.
I think.
And she did the same with me.
Well, it's a mutual thing. It's you get into a relationship and you're in the honeymoon phase, and you love each other, and all you want to do is be nice, and you never want to have any conflict or anything. So you let them get away with stuff. They let you get away with stuff. No. Have a couple more arguments. Not big blow up end of the world relationship.
Arguments
things.
are supposed to be just very calm, difficult conversations.
Yes, if they do something that bugs you, let them know. Because here's what happens then. They do that thing that bugs you, and then they keep doing it, not knowing that it bugs you, and then 6 months later you go, and you look like a psychopath because they've been doing this thing for 6 months, and you blow up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? No, right away. Hey, I don't like that you do this. And it's, believe me,
And here's
it's
what-
never over something big, which makes you look like even more of a psycho.
Here's why it's like, just be like, listen,
I don't like that.
here's why, and
Not for
here's
me.
why. Here's why.
Yeah.
And then believe me, if the person really likes you, they'll stop.
Yeah.
And because nobody and if they don't like you, then they won't stop. Break up with them.
And no matter how big or small it is, the next time they do it, because, they'll do it again.
For sure. It takes a while to break a habit.
At least you get to go, yeah, but I told you I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to have these
And we're not
blow-ups.
perfect. Steve's a good
Yeah.
relationship advice guy. Very good at it.
Get stuff out of the way, put it on the open. It's like lying on a date. It's like playing yourself up on a date, which is hard to avoid. You're lying to your potential partner, right?
I had that.
And they're lying to you.
I had somebody lie to me about every single member of their family. It was
do you mean?
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's weird.
About what their parents did, what their
Like
siblings
about their
did.
jobs?
It was
Why?
bad. I don't. Well,
That's weird.
I think the answer is when this happens, because I've been through just about pretty much everything. If I've ever been cheated on, I don't know about it, and that's okay. I prefer not to know at this point. I'm sure it's happened, but I don't know. But I've been just about everything else, and I can tell you, it is a weird feeling when you find out because sometimes a lie isn't a lie; it's a stretch of the truth, a ginormous.
It's an exaggeration.
It's an alternate fact.
Okay.
To quote Kellyanne Conway, it's an alternate fact. And this
Another
person,
ex-girlfriend of Adam, by the way.
Yeah,
Man, he
really.
went through a stretch.
this person was just highly, highly, highly insecure. And before I realized it, I was deep into the relationship, so you just don't bring it up. But it always bugged me that this person had lied about their family. And eventually the relationship ended. But they had she lied about it. And so
So what else are they lying about?
I never did. And that goes back to my original thing, which was that goes back to my original thing, which is, if someone makes you feel bad about you out of the blue for no reason, and it's your partner, the person who can hurt you the most, don't accept it if you didn't do anything wrong. And I did that. I was so good at accepting blame for things I never did. And so good for letting people off the hook for things they did that I didn't like. So if I could talk to my 17-year-old or 2007 self, 19-year-old self, I would say do that and stick with what you're doing. You're working very hard. The career stuff, you'll just continue to work as hard as you possibly can. The career stuff will happen.
And also, I say be kindly ruthless. So like when I say don't be afraid to fire a friend, that doesn't mean you need to punch him in the face and call him a dick and I'm never speaking to you again.
No.
You just back away. That's all. You back away. But in some cases, evaluate whether or not it's good to forgive because it feels really good to do that. For example, I'll tell you a story. This girl, she was a friend of my wife's. Supposedly one day she was just having a really bad day and I came up. They were just talking about me. And she was having a bad day and she was not at a great point in her life. And they were talking about my job, whatever I was doing at the time. I was probably working I was probably in that 2012 phase where I was doing 6 things at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she basically goes, yeah, well, how long is that little fairy tale going to last? And so I found out about this and she kind of fell out with my wife and we stopped being friends for a while. But then after a while, we realized, okay, she was just going through a shitty time at the time. And she's not actually a bad person. And she started to come back into her life. Come back in, right around our wedding. But she wasn't on our list. She wasn't on the list for the wedding. And then, and we did feel bad about that. Because had that little falling out not happened, she was right in there. And she would have been unquestionably at the wedding. 2 days before the wedding, a spot opens up. One spot. So I call her up. And I go, I can't give you a +1, but it would mean a lot to us if you came. Oh, she starts crying on the phone. And she's, yeah, I'll come. and she came, and now we're friends with her again. So that felt good.
Yeah, allow
That
room
felt
and
good.
help. I think the key here is that when people show you who they truly are, believe them.
Also, be wary of someone who's really good at asking for forgiveness, because it's hard to get good at something without practice.
Yeah.
That's so evil.
Wow.
Why is that evil?
Oh, damn, that's
On
a
my
good
part?
one.
Just the
Wow.
entire
Wow.
idea behind it is so evil.
Wow.
I mean, man.
Damn.
You know what, Jesse? I'm much older than you, and I've experienced. No, you know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah. Just thinking about a person who would do that is it's very evil.
Damn,
I've
dude.
met these people.
Yeah, I met a
just
lot of-
people who are they're a little too good at adapting.
Trust
if
your
someone
gut.
makes you uncomfortable and you can't explain why, just remember that you don't have to explain why.
They just make you uncomfortable. Stay away.
Again, you don't got to punch him in the
Yes.
dick.
Trust
you don't
your
gotta, You don't
gut.
got to run away. You don't got to do a big diatribe about him. You just fade away.
Yeah.
Fade away.
It's okay not to text people back.
It's okay. Yeah, and they'll call you a dick, and that's fine. Let them call you a dick.
Or if you're not a
doesn't
dick,
hurt
then it
you.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Who cares?
Oh my God. So much wisdom.
And if they tell your
so
friends
much
and your friends
unasked
believe
for
them, then
wisdom.
yeah. Sorry.
So much.
How does it start?
This,
I asked you to talk to your 2007 self. and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
got-
wow.
you got
well,
deep.
we're wisdoming ourselves then.
Oh.
Dropping some wisdom bombs.
Shout out Milos Raonic before we go. He's going to play Rafael Nadal, and he's the number one. He's the highest seed left in the Australian Open. He has a chance to become the first.
Rafa.
He has a chance to become the first singles Canadian player ever to win a major championship.
God, I hope he wins. We've had so many close calls.
Yeah.
So many close calls. Come
Do
on.
you think Jeannie Bouchard is ever going to be the Jeannie Bouchard we saw flashes of?
Probably not. No,
Why not?
She's on an upswing, isn't she?
she is. Yeah, she's coming back, but I don't know. I don't know if she's ever going to reach that level again.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Never know. She's still like, I think she'd be the youngest person in this room, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's 22.
Two?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Yeah, she's got
She got
lots
time.
of room to
She
grow.
got
Come
time.
on.
Who knows?
Yeah, she'll be okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
she's
kids.
gone around.
Great time this episode. We'll see you again Thursday. Love you both.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.